Listen. Yeah. Yes, Lord. Get that out of there. Whew, listen. Hey, everybody, it's your boy, Matty Rants. Thank you so much for tuning in today. You already know what it is. It's a rant with me, but it's really a rant and review with me. This is going to be a long episode. So if you're currently driving home, if you're currently going to work, if you're sitting at home folding clothes, doing a whole lot of stuff, the kids running around, I don't know what's happening in your daily lives, but get ready for a long discussion. That's right. I'm telling this early because there may be some new people that come here like, who is this queen and what's happening here? I'm fabulous, I promise you. You see the coral top I'm giving. However, we're going to be talking about two shows today, both with a series of episodes. So it's not just one episode apiece. It's the entire series, Swarm, that's on Amazon Prime, as well as the first 3 episodes of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Now, in the following weeks, because Swarm, I'm already going to be discussing it here, as well as Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, you know, the full jazz of that, we'll be doing just Housewives, from now on. That will be our Wednesday show. Believe me when I tell you, there is a lot to unpack and have a conversation about today. There will be dragons. There will be possible, theories as to what's going on here. There will be a return to the past. Okay. Call me Morty McFly and this mother, because we're going back to the future if we will. But I need to have a discussion about certain things that were said, how things went down, and some of the clear antagonists. Yes, there we go. Antagonist, insinuators, those who are starting all this up and being the real true producers of the season. So we're going to have a conversation about that today. I am going to go ahead and tell you. Listen to me here. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Tomorrow will be Baddies West. We'll have that conversation. The Quarry, I said I would do it today, and I know I posted that schedule. I'm going to have to make an announcement after this video because, of course, I have a very early doctor's appointment tomorrow that I need to make an expensive early doctor's appointment. Y'all, they had messaged me today. Said, by the way, you're going to have to pay $117. I said, God. Oh, I want to scream, but I'm like, I got it. It's fine, whatever. But it's for my eyes. I have to get specific glasses because apparently my eyes are, under a lot of stress because I do a lot of work on the computer. And so I have to get some special lenses specifically for that, as well as the contact lenses they're getting for me too. Trying to make sure that your boy is healthy here. So I have to be very, very up early in the morning because my doctor's appointment's on the opposite side of town. And if you know Houston, Texas, that opposite means an hour of driving, and that's possibly without traffic. With that being said, we're going to be focusing on this today. I will do the Quarry part 5, and we'll do an extra couple of hours tomorrow night after the Baddies West, because after this video today, Matty wants to get some food and go sit down and watch the challenge. I have Abbott Elementary to catch up on. And then I believe the new South Park's on today. I want to watch some TV that's non-reaction review related, if you would, for me, please. Plus, I'm hosting this weekend for my friends a game night, and it's the first time I'm having company over to my place, and I'm trying to get this to be nice and clean and wonderful. So I have a lot going on. So listen, let's go ahead and get my social medias out the way first. Then we'll get into the conversation with Swarm. We're going to talk about Swarm. I'm going to break it down, go over the entirety of the season. We're going to go a couple of, through the episodes too. And I'm going to give you my theories as to what exactly was going on with Drea, even though it was kind of laid out for us in a way. Okay. And then also with Housewives, episode by episode, I may not go through everything. I kind of want to go through the majority of the arguments and who I think is right and wrong. When we get to it later, it's going to be me breaking it down like you know how I already do, but we'll have a long conversation today. At Matty Rants everywhere except for Twitter, which is at the Matty Rants. You can find that on the description down below. Grab a branch, eat some fruit. That's the rhyme I use to tell you that you can find my links in the link tree link down below. Description section. It's an easy find. Find me in all my other spaces like Twitter, Instagram, and whatever else I put on there. And also links to places like my Patreon where you can join for as low as $1 a month. I react to each and everything that I talk about on YouTube, as well as specific shows for Patreon members exclusively. Currently, Yellow Jackets is one of those shows on Showtime. I'm reacting to that one, so you might want to check it out. That show's really good. Also, I'm covering Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, RuPaul's Drag Race, because that's the bread and butter of the station, if you already know what's up, Rant Pack. And then Baddies West, because Zeus has a hold on me. I like a little drama, and as much as I talk about the textured skin that is Natalie Nunn, she does bring some excellent entertainment, sometimes stupid. A lot of stupid. Anywho, catch me on Patreon for as low as $1, as well as bookable on Cameo. I have a recent request. If you're watching this video, I'm about to talk about you real quick. Why do y'all want me to roast people? And you're talking about somebody had a car accident. I'm like, what? Like, I feel like this is a trap. I feel like this is a trap. So listen, if you want me to say something nice, if you want me to wish you happy birthday, give you some advice, I like those cameos. But I'm really praying to God on this one because I'm like, girl, someone is trying to either play with me right now or what? You want me to read someone? Like, why? I don't know. Anywho. No, we're not going to be gaming tonight, Asia Urban Reviews. We're going to move it to tomorrow night, and we're going to give it an extra hour of time. So it'll be a 3-hour live during the Quarry Part 5. Today is going to be a long review, so tonight will not be that story. I definitely will post something tonight letting y'all know about tomorrow, so do not worry about that. The schedule is still clear. We just had to move Part 5 into Part 6 and have a longer stream tomorrow because Matt's got to wake up at 6 a.m. and I don't like to be crabby in the morning, especially going to the doctor, because those people don't need to see me when I'm upset. So we're gonna treat them kindly today. And I also have some other business to take care of tomorrow and make sure that's handled on my own and personal stuff. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate you for being here. If you want to drop your boy a tip in his jar for hosting today, it's paypal.me/MattyRants, catch up $MattyRants, Venmo Rants. Not necessary for your feedback and for your love and all that kind of stuff. Not necessary, but if you want to do something and you want to give me a little extra something that's not going to be taken a percentage of via YouTube, those are the spaces and places you can go to. What you do need to do that is a requirement for this channel, as well as for this algorithm, in all of its spaces and places on this YouTube platform where content creators are all trying to make it somewhere. And sometimes it can be harder for a particular set of folks. Do I need to go deeper? Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs down if you're ugly, because I assume you are if you hit it. And get in that comment section and talk about some of the stuff that we're talking about today. Okay? The topic should be what we're talking about. I appreciate y'all for being here today. Listen, the disclaimer is going to be necessary because Giselle is going to receive all of me today. Hi, Giselle. Hello. See, here's what the thing about the Housewives is, y'all, with me. I watch the show. I've been a watcher of that franchise. Shout out to Alexander Diane Rogers and C. Diggy One, of course, for covering the Housewives series for as long as I've known them. And, you know, at one point in time when Matty was first starting out this channel, I started with Housewives of Atlanta, Georgia. I did. I didn't stay with it because it just wasn't hidden. I didn't know nobody really wanted to listen. I was like, maybe I wasn't on my formula just yet and I hadn't hit my flow. It was very early YouTube days for me. But Drag Race did the numbers. And I was like, because I, one, love the show, and two, because I want to talk about it to nausea, to the extent of Reddit threads being made about me. So, with Housewives, I've been watching them since day one. I've been there from the jump for almost, go ahead and say it, Matt, all of the seasons that have been American seasons, except for Dubai, because I watched Dubai as well. That's the key. So I'm going to be able to talk about this extensively and not just from the surface level of Ultimate Girls Trip, because there is a lot that goes into the drama that majority plays out through the season. And it's interesting how it's done, because I'm witnessing people needing to dig into the past to make things relevant currently. And I'm talking about Giselle. I'm talking about Giselle. It's sad to see you old baloney neck having ass. Here we go. With that being said, Disclaimer, this program is for entertainment purposes only and content is not intended to malign any religion, race, company, gender, individual, or wigs. All opinions expressed by MattyRants and program participants are solely their personal views and do not reflect the opinions of every human being on the planet. No hate should be sent to any of the shows or individuals mentioned on this program, so please don't be a jerk. And if you feel uncomfortable after viewing this program, go buy my merch at dragqueenmerch.com. Shout out to Bible Girl and Company. All of that link is also available in the description down below. Are you ready to get into this? Are you ready to have this conversation today? Are you ready to get down? Because I'm going to be as kind as possible for Ultimate Girls Trip, but when I start to go in, you know how I operate. Let's get into Swarm first, shall we? Let's get into Swarm first. Let's talk about it. So listen, Joseph, I see you on my Cash App. Thank you for the tippy poo for coffee for tomorrow. Yeah, because I'm going to need it. I'm going to need it. Speaking of which, my first dental appointment went really great, and I got a follow-up that they got to do. We got to do some other stuff now before I go in. So shout out to the crew today. They were so sweet to me. Your boy was, of course, a cornball in the doctor's office, but I'm always like that everywhere I go because I feel a little chuckle, you know. It's always fun to have. Who needs to be rude all the time and mad about things that don't matter? Anywho, woo! All right, so this. Let me talk about this show with y'all about Swarm. What's up, Bonnie? Hey, baby, thank you for being here. The show starts off with something that kind of throws you off a little bit. You see, it start off like this is not a work of fiction. It's like what? So it already throws you off from the jump, and then it gets to it. Any similarity to actual persons living or dead or actual events is intentional. And you're like, huh? What is that? Wait, what? Swarm already starts you on a journey of questioning everything that is happening in front of you, because it tells you, all right, take this super serious. Take this seriously. This is some shit. We're not playing around. And it's like, what? Like, what's going on here, right? Just sort of go through this kind of quick before I even just, start this all up. It's basically a show that is, you could say, a love letter to standom around the world, but really, it was almost like this beautiful character study of Drea and her obsession that turned into an aggressive obsession that led her down a path that just continued to dig deeper and deeper holes. And then as you go through the story, you find out more about her and where this obsession starts from. The fact that no one ever really wanted to help her or just completely mistreated her from the beginning based off of something that happened, and how she really never, ever got help for that and never got control of what was going on and found herself enjoying what she was doing in the process, which was on behalf of a music artist that she didn't know. But at the same time, this also relates to Marissa, her sister, and how there was a dependency on this person after an event that took place that was really traumatic with her grandmother's passing that she was responsible for. And the fact that most people removed her from their lives, we got to talk about it. And I'm going to go through these episodes and try to just break it down the best I can. But I felt so bad for her at the end of this, but I also was like, but low key, high key. A lot of the actions that took place were the cause of a lot of the events that she never got to even attend because of the decisions that she was making. Biscuit 582. So once again, this is a live video, so we're talking a lot. And if you're listening to this, you're like, what is this guy talking about? The live chat's included in this too, so we'll be having some of y'all's talking points in here as well. Biscuits 582, thank you for this. I was wondering why she didn't just tell the parents that it wasn't her who did it. I need to know more of that backstory. So that's where episode 6 gets involved. And you also realize that it didn't matter if she said she didn't do it, because she did say to the parents that she didn't do it. It didn't matter. They did not receive her as a person. She was a check to them. That was in episode 5. Let's get to this, babies. It's been a while since I've done like a series and I like do the breakdown of this series with y'all. Normally I do reality TV, so here we go. All right. So listen. We start off the series with Drea and Marissa living in this house in Houston, Texas. That's my hometown, baby. H-Town, come on. Coming down. And of course, she's obsessed with this artist, Nyjah, who's basically Beyonce to us in the real world. So Nyjah is an artist who is Beyonce. One more again for the girls that are like, what is this about? Nyjah is like Beyonce, if she's Beyonce. And you'll notice throughout the series that there were a lot of things that were being done, certain steps that were being taken place. All of it was in reference to Beyonce, and this is about the beehive. Swarm, bees. Cool. Can I tell you that the only reason I watched Snowfall was because of him and his, like, uncle? He's like one of the only reasons why I watched that show. Because Snowfall was a good show. My friend, my former roommate actually lived and breathed that show. And I low-key watched it in secret. But yeah, he was one of the greatest things to happen with that show. Also for this series too, I was mad he was out in one episode. But I miss Snowfall. Snowfall it's a wrap, right? It's a wrap. I haven't seen the final season yet, but it's a wrap. Anywho, oh, did I just sink this picture in there? Why would I do something like that? What's wrong with me? Who is this for? Who are we doing this for? All of us. Every one of us. Every single one of us. This is fine. Both Chloe and Idris are both fine. There. All right, we're finished. I had to let you go. We're going to talk about you later on the ground, but listen. Drea has literally got a credit card, okay? And she bought these tickets with all of the money from that credit card, knowing damn well she's not going to be able to pay back that bill. So she was willing to go into debt to go to this Nyjah concert, right? Now, this also plays, and it's so eerie how this show came out, with Drea in reference to us with Beyonce in the Renaissance tour. Like, it's very, I think that was very smart how they planned that, if they even did plan it, because, Beyonce just does things and everyone's like, maybe Donald Glover, who we've seen cool with Beyonce, knew a little something about when she would drop whatever, and then maybe pitch the idea, I'm doing a show about your fans, right? Oh, Lord. Can you imagine if that conversation ever happened? Anywho, so think about it. Like, this came out right after I just went through hell getting those tickets, and y'all know, Chi, listen, y'all know, you experienced it in real time with me. I'm on the phone with Ange from the Chop Block, because we're getting tickets. We're going as a group, me and some of the Chop Block people, which is Bray, shots of Brays, of course, Alexis, Ange's Love, and Ange. And we're all going to have a good time. And we didn't even get the seats that we wanted to get, but we're wanting to go. We want to go. Like, I want front row. I want to be in the front. I'm not getting in the front. I'm going to be in the back, y'all. But I'm going to live my absolute life, because guess what? It was the show's on my birthday, September 24th. She is my favorite artist. Like, you're joking me. I'm going to live. I'm going to have a good time. It's also going to be like my fourth Beyonce concert. So there you go. But you see how I can relate to this show in a sense, but not to this deeper level. But this felt like it hit home for me. So, hey, maybe because you saw it as Beyonce and the whole Nyjah situation, you may not be able to relate to this. But if you're a Barb or a Navy member, and I'm talking to you Swifties and you Selena nuns, I don't know, the Gomez's, I forget what the Selena Knights, I don't know what it is, but you better, this was all of us. A lot of the Stan community should be watching this show and take lessons in reference to this, because while this may not be your full life, nothing should ever get this deep. Nothing in life should ever get this deep, ever. Now, we're going to be at the show supporting the artists. We're going to live for our queens and all that kind of stuff, but we should never get to this level. Whatever this was going, this got crazy. So listen. I know I didn't get a screenshot that would completely ruin my channel in reference for this. So I'm thankful that I took this screenshot. Now, Rory Culkin, when did you go to the gym? That's the one. 2, did anybody else clock this is one of the Culkin brothers? 3, who thought this was Macaulay Culkin in a time machine? 4, you do know that Macaulay Culkin has brothers, right? 5, one of them. No, I'm gonna stop. This scene was gross, but also not surprising. I mean, it's not gross. I thought it was really funny and also a weird moment to place in the show because the show is a lot about throwing you off of what trail we're going on here. You think Drea is in a different atmosphere in terms of where her mind is at because you're like, oh, she just went through something crazy. She got over it. Oh, she's going through, oh, what's this? Oh, okay, no. Oh. Oh. I wouldn't have been mad. I wouldn't have been mad. We could have came. Listen, he looked like he could pick up some furniture. I was here for it. If you look like you could move a table, come on over. Come on over. Hey, get you some. Listen, the problem was, or whatever happened, is that when Drea got the tickets to go to this concert, which is the Niger concert, this concert, this person who they both love together, that they've gone to shows before. It's one of their connections that they have, and one of Drea's connections to her in happiness, because she has had a very troubling time growing up, and people have completely misunderstood her. Even Marissa's, who is Chloe Bailey's character, come on, Matt, brain is leaving me. Her coworkers that she got a job for and all that kind of mess, she got a job at some t-shirt hut at West Oaks Mall. I couldn't believe they put West Oaks on the map like that. I was like, what? I used to live by West Oaks. That's Houston. Anywho, got her a job there. She wasn't even paying attention to shit. Got the place robbed, knowing she's going to lose the job. Set her friend up for having like no job whatsoever. Her friend's already with the boyfriend who has been hitting on Drea, and Drea's like, he's no good for you. But because Drea is also a little strange, Marissa don't know how to take her seriously. Mind you, Marissa has attempted see you outside. Ooh, that's a way to... Ooh. Did I just put that in a way that could not get bitch? Oh, that was... Wow, okay. You know what I'm talking about. She drew a long red line, okay? And it was meant for the long time. Ooh, Matt, that's 2. That's 2. See you outside. Damn. I know, right? I'm like, oh, wait, I just made that up on the brim. Excuse me. Someone's going to steal that from me. Watch. Someone will steal that. Please mark this down. March 29th, 2023. Mark this down. I made that up. That's mine. Copyright it. Send this video back. I saved it. We will sue. That was actually really, that was, oof. Anywho, so she's a person who has had that moment. Okay, listen, when I do some stupid shit like that, y'all, I'm telling you, I got to give myself a pat on the back. Real talk. She, Marissa's had that experience before, and Drea has literally, you know what I'm talking about? It's been very like, please don't leave me. You're the only person I have. So anywho, Marissa leaves Drea even after Drea's like, oh my God, I got these tickets for you and us to go to this concert for your birthday. Marissa's like, I'm going to Atlanta with my boyfriend. Because I'm going to tell you this though, and it's really funny. Houstonians, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but let's talk about it. 3 cities that I know we go to, 4 actually, that I know we fly out to often: Los Angeles, Atlanta, Miami, New York. If you from the H, and I can call it what it is from my young days of flying and all that kind of shit, and my friends and how we used to operate: Miami, New York, Los Angeles, Atlanta. That's the states. That's where we're going. Vegas is, yeah, and also Vegas. There we go. Vegas too. Them 5 right there. That's where we move into. Trust and believe. As many times as I've been at the airport, it has never been an empty flight to any of those cities going anywhere. It's always packed. Always. But she wants to go to Atlanta with a boo. And of course, this leaves Drea to have a moment, and she's losing it. And she's like, fuck it, I'm going to go out and have a good time. She meets herself a little pink baby. They end up he wakes up. She, again, very disassociates herself from things, because I want to remind y'all, as we watch this show, Did she not black out every time it came to sex, or was that just simply how the director wanted us to have those moments with her? Like, we're not supposed to see her in those situations, so we only see her after the aftermath. Because it was like every time we get to a point with her, stop. Ooh, but no, New Orleans now, we drive there. We don't have to fly. So that's why I didn't include that with the fly list, because that's only 6 hours. We're going to hit the car. We're going to get a rental and push it to New Orleans now. I see you, Bonnie. Yeah, we going to get a rental from Houston to New Orleans. That's 6 hours if you're driving the speed limit. It's 5 if you just hit it. Telling you right now. But it was just really, she went out and had a good time and da. I found this moment to be kind of like, okay, this is relatable. They had a fight. She wanted to go have a good time. It doesn't seem like she does that often. Somebody wanted a little slap a dap of that, and that's what happened. But she realizes that Marissa's been calling her phone like 30 times and she wasn't available to get to her. And unfortunately, in that process, Marissa ends up taking her. She commits. She said, see you outside. And that hits Drea on a different level. And it's that one person that she had, that she was close to now, completely separated. And that was her last connection. That was it. And that was what was so sad about this moment, because, and to go back, let me go back to this original picture here, where we're at. She goes to the funeral, and I knew this confused you like it confused me. She goes to the funeral and is standing there, and someone asks her to leave. The family asks you to leave. They feel it's not appropriate for you to be there. And it's like, what are you talking about? We find out a little bit later where that goes to, but it's not even as deep as what we think, is what they made it out to be. It's in reality, Marissa's family, man, whoa, horrible people. Oh, we'll get there in a second. That's why I was happy how the show played out, because I didn't want things to be answered immediately. I wanted things to go through the way they did. So what happened is we find her in her room, non-responsive, and she's completely pale. We also got, in the same episode, the scars on her arm, and Drea kissing Marissa's arm, because it's like, Marissa's like, please don't remind me of that. It was such a long time ago. But it's like, girl, like, speaking for myself, as somebody who is a survivor of attempted suicide on multiple occasions, that does not leave you. It is not something that just goes away. It is something that you live with every day, and you have to check yourself before you put yourself back in those dark spaces again. You literally have, it is such a hard road. Let me tell you, okay? I've talked about it many times before on my channel. I've gone into details over situations. If you're a Rant Pack member and you've been with me for a long run, you know what videos to point out to the girls that are new. Okay. I've had very, 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 very dark times in my life that I have overcome through faith, and also putting that strength in me and having the right amount of support behind me, and real support behind me, through either family or friendships. And if I didn't have those things, I wouldn't be here today. But I also had to take a step in realizing that I had those things. So don't take advantage of that love and those blessings. And that was something that pulled me back up. Also, some words my mom gave me on my first time. I hear them every time I get in that dark place again. And it's, so you're just going to leave me here with these people? Literally, first time that my mother said that, you're just going to leave me here with them? And I think about that for myself now. And I don't use it for folks. I use it for myself. You're just going to just go, Matt, and you're just going to leave them. I think about that with my audience, with y'all now. You're just going to leave them. You're just going to leave. That's it. Peace, deuce, done. You couldn't figure out a way out of this? It's heavy. And when you have those discussions with folks, some people don't understand where people can come from, and being like, oh, I would never do something like that. But maybe you've been blessed enough to never have to deal with something so negatively that it takes you out, that it removes you from your reality. You do not understand that kind of pain. And maybe you have gotten there and you found a way to get around it, but not everybody's strong like that based off of experiences that happen. When you've been put down for the majority of your life, man, and you have to build yourself back up, that shit's deep. So I'm watching Drea in my real time and I'm going, whoo, if I had just did the wrong thing, whoo, if I had acted on some thoughts, whoo, if I had just took another step. You feel what I'm saying? This is deep. So this show had a lot of levels to it, and some people couldn't understand it. You may not be relatable, but in reality, Drea is a lot of us, and Drea is the person who finally just took that step that we would never do because there was a point of removing ourselves from all that and saying, "Nah, I'm not going to do it." For her, it was, there's no other way. There's no one else left. Marissa's gone. I have nothing holding me. Nothing. Couldn't even see her friend. Couldn't even pay her respects that way. That would blow my mind if I went to my friend's funeral and all of a sudden I'm being told I can't even like say what's up to like my sister, who was my adopted sister at a time, but that's a whole nother story. Oh, hold on here. What happened? Wait a minute. Hold on, people. I was doing my shared screen and it went out on me. Hold on. Hold on. I had slid that sucker, my man. I'm using my iPad as my mirrored screen today, and so she's a little different than the other one. Let's keep on moving here. Okay, the battery's still good. But yeah, I can talk about those moments with y'all now in my journey because I do with my therapist, and I also have had that discussion with people in person. And when I was working with Reach LA for like a little bit with a friend of mine, I had my own discussion with a couple of people who were younger than me, who were LGBTQI plus, and asking questions about stuff like that. And like you telling your story can help somebody else too. You know what I'm saying? That's just really where it's at with people. Very much, it's a tough road. Feral Kitty, yep, make yourself think about those that love you and what it would do to them. A permanent solution to a temporary problem, for sure. Let's see here. Play Marissa's dad was just around the running, until they explain the foster situation later. Yeah, no, you're fine, Amy. I hope my comment wasn't offensive. I was facetious saying I can't relate to offering myself. But no, yeah, you should like don't take that. It's not okay. Listen, it's not something like if you can't relate to that, that's not a problem. That is a strength that people can admire and also can be envious of, because you may just have that instilled in you, and that's in a lot of folks. Some people get really tired, and I can relate to consistently being dogged every day, this kind of stuff. And I'm not even talking about social media. I'm talking about like before we even had Twitter and Facebook. Imagine you're at home, your brothers are dragging you, your dad is dragging you, your mom wants to help, but she doesn't want to get involved in all the mess. And you're being told, like, if you come home and I find out these things, we're going to remove you from this earth, that kind of stuff. To then get to school, how you sound funny, oh, you talk funny, oh, you walk funny, da 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 da. Then we got to go places like barbershops. I got to deal with that kind of crap there. Then I got to go to other places that I don't want to go, where it's always being done. And I get back home to then repeat the cycle over and over and over and over and over again. I lived that life for so many years, which is why it's difficult for me now to be in front of my family, because there are moments where they still do the same things they used to do before. And while I can be an adult and walk away, it's still like, y'all never learned anything. Even after finding out about me, even after knowing what's up and apologizing, you're still the same. And I can't ask y'all to change, but I can remove myself from situations. Let's move forward here. Because of all this happening, Drea has pretty much spiraled out, and she's already on her low drive. But one thing that she's associating with the situation is Drea's ex, who she knew was basically cheating on Marissa. Not Drea's ex, but I'm sorry, Marissa's ex, who was cheating on Marissa, and how, he didn't even show up to the funeral. So she shows up there to, talk to him and sort of like, be cool and all that kind of jazz and come on in. And he's very emotional about the situation, but he seems to be in a place of moving forward, possibly doing something with her. She ends up taking him out. Beat that ass. Okay. Took him out. Took that man out and then proceeded to go in the kitchen and have a piece of pie. One of the craziest scenes I have ever seen on television. What's going on? And that is when I realized, oh, she has an association with food. Wow. This is about to get crazy. Let's get into the second episode. What's up, Japan? Thanks for being here. Nicole. Matty, I watched you with Scotty and the gang. Shout out to Boys Night Out. You are so awesome. You belong here. God wants you to enjoy your precious life. So stay awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, Nicole, also me and my faith has gotten a lot stronger because I realize that the way I worship God is not, it doesn't have to be the way everybody else does it. And it also comes with my own personal relationship with them. So, that's been very helpful for me, getting more understanding on my spirituality, how I worship, how I receive, what I take in. It's been a journey. We're still going. We're still on there. I'm not perfect. We're getting there. I'm still working on me. This was the most awkward dancing I have ever expected in my entire life. I hated this. This was awful. This reminded me of a few people on Drag Race this season thinking they can do what they want to do, but not so much. So we find her in a different city after, I believe, a year or so from the situation, or a few years. And she is working at a strip club trying to make some money. We also find out that she is currently living in complete filth, as she has no home skills because no one ever bothered to give her these things. And it's, you got to understand this about her. And if you notice this about the food, right? Even from leaving the scene with old boy, she left the pie in the refrigerator, rumbled through. I also found it interesting that everybody was that they were all going to crime scenes in the later episodes and no one dusted for fingerprints. She wasn't that clean. I'm going to be real with you. She was not that clean. If you could see the food, wouldn't you be able to get like DNA? Moving on. The way they found out about her, I found to be kind of like, Drea has now changed her name to Carmen. The last name that she gets to is Tony. But right now we're talking about Carmen. Yeah, there were a few holes in this where I was like, that didn't make any sense. No, I can't show you how she did it. She bludgeoned him with an oh, I did it again. Oh my gosh. Go back. Sorry, y'all. I keep forgetting. I can't slide over like I used to. God bless America. Hold on. What should I do? Should I just move this to the TV? I feel like I should just move this to the TV. Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to mute myself real quick because this iPad is giving me trouble. Mute her real quick because I didn't know what was about to pop up on the screen. Okay. There we go. We're going to stop screen. We're going to present screen. Ah, so much better. Okay, work. Wait. Now that I'm thinking about it, what was the movie called? What was this movie called? Hold on. Now that I'm thinking about it. Okay. It's interesting how they did that. But no, she's also, while she's out there dancing and making money, she's also looking for people who are talking about Nyjah on the internet, which is really creepy. So her mission now, her like purpose, what is actually helping her, I guess, or driving her, is taking out people who are against Nyjah. She also has Marissa's cell phone in her possession and has been texting Marissa who is no longer with us, back and forth. I'm going to talk about that again. Can you believe this is Paris Jackson? That biracial conversation about Halsey had me on the floor. Most girls don't know I'm Black. I was like, well, I said, I know I'm part of the Bright Committee, but there are a few context clues for me, sister. I was gooped. I said she got everything from her mother. All of the above with her mother. None of her dad. Maybe 2% of Michael is in there after the vitiligo. Girl, I was like, what? I was gagged. But there was this whole moment of her talking to Drea, because again, Drea was walking out the club while her and her boyfriend were getting in an argument, which it looked like the P-Wagon from Kill Bill, his truck. I was like, girl, did they put that in there? And she was just one of those down kind of strippers or whatever who really just, she's there to make money, do what it do. But she has her own issues with men, which is her, looks like creatine, steroid obsessed boyfriend, all that kind of jazz, right? So mind you, Drea gets involved with her because, she kind of puts herself into Drea's situation. She just allows herself to come into it. You know what I'm saying? And it's really weird because I find her, it was weird how she got into every place that Drea was. Like, she got into the hotel room by telling the manager, oh, that's my sister, let me in. It's like, who, what? But at the same time, do you trust her? Now, I don't really know why Drea took out her boyfriend outside the fact that it reminded her of what Marissa went through with her dude in the same sense. And she's like very much all about women, because she even says this later on in the episode with Billie Eilish, right? But when it came to like how she like she ends up like basically, taking his dumbbell and just beating the boy to death. And it was like, what? And then she tries to dispose of the body. And Paris Jackson's character comes out like, oh my God, like, I can't believe it. But then kicks the man and she's like all down for what was up. She was like, bet, yes, let's do it. Oh, so what we're going to do, we can get rid of the body. We can go do this. Oh, we'll be like Thelma and Louise. I'm like, oh shit, we have two people now on this ride. But remember, she is a Halsey fan, not a Nyjah fan. Drea takes her out. Why? Because she's a Halsey fan? Girl, that was that made zero sense to me. But I also think that what made the most sense out of that situation is she didn't want no one knowing about her. And if she gets arrested or something happens or that goes back to anyone, she'll just snitch on her. She ends up pushing the body into the same grave as that man. I was like, oh my God, this is insane. Not you taking this woman's ABU, finish the rest, lover, and putting him in the grave and then putting her on top of the body. Too much. Somehow the next day, and I feel like maybe she was trying to take his car. Like, maybe that's what the reason was. Like, I don't know. No, because that wasn't the same vehicle. That wasn't the same car. So listen. Somehow, because she ends up taking these people out, rummaging through the refrigerator, eating a couple of junk food, she can dance now as a stripper. It's crazy, y'all. I was like, so now she can dance a little bit better. And she changed the song up because remember, she was like, why are you dancing to a song about a baby? I was like, what? It's almost the same epitome of them of like Drea dancing to, or I should say Carmen dancing to Miss You by Beyonce at a strip club. I miss you like every day. Can you imagine? Baby, I'd be in there like, what is going on? So the strip was like her now, and she's like, cool, you can be with us. But low key, what happened is that the girl who she took out, Miss Paris Jackson's character, was supposed to be the driver for the strippers to go to a party and make some money. right? So she needs the extra money because, I don't know, buy more chips. Popeyes, leave it there, never throw it away. And she goes to help them out. This scene was gross, but I'm also like, get your money, girl, because this man low-key rolled up into this party. It's supposed to be some frat party, and they bought out a bunch of strippers and they're doing their do. He comes in there and gives you all Joel Osteen. I would never do these things. I have a girl at home. I'm a good guy. She's just in the room eating chips and dip, minding her business because she's not about to get a show like, that kind of show. He asked her if he can pay her, and she got a good grip of money for it too. Like, what was it, $1,600, $2,000? She got a good little amount of money just to sit there and eat chips while he, took care of himself. Cumin. Oh, it was weird. So the show, as you could see, as we're talking about this, it goes on this weird ride. Like, what is happening here? Now she's, she took out the boyfriend of her ex, excuse me. She took out the boyfriend of her sister who, okay, that kind of made sense. We get to the Paris Jackson storyline. It's a little weird. It's like, oh, okay, you just took her out because you took him out because you were annoyed by him, and she saw, so now she got to go. And then we get here, and it's like, okay, so maybe we won't have to do this no more. But remind yourself, she's looking for this guy, right? The car breaks down. It's an old Mercedes. Clearly, it's going to go. The strippers are like, bitch, you should have had this shit together. What the fuck? Bam! The person she's looking for who owns a towing company just so happens to pull up on them while he's driving through. You can come back to my house, ladies, and take a shower or, wait, call a car, do whatever. Like, get yourselves together because I know it's been a long night. Whoop, 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 whoop. He also is a patron of the club that they go to, that they work at, which is the reason why Drea, aka Carmen, wanted to be in his presence. That's why I was like, huh. So intentionally, she worked at the club to find him so she can seduce him, go back to his house, take him out because he talked about Nyjah. But in reality, she never got to that point because he hadn't been there in a while. But boom, da-da-boom, he's just so happened to be driving along, and bam, oh, I know y'all from the club. Oh, you're one of our regulars. Hey, what's up? We ain't seen you in a minute. Oh, I had to take care of some stuff with my mom. Bam. I was like, wow. Okay then. Okay. They get what needs to be got and they go. But before she leaves, she's like, this is probably my last opportunity to take care of this man and then just be bounced out of this, whatever business, right? So she puts some aerosol spray in the shower while it's running on the heat. So it goes through the mist. And of course, it's going to cause them to get a little blind and, dizzy and cough and like, oh, what's going on? And she was going to beat him with a frying pan. What she didn't know is that he wasn't in the shower. He was getting ready to get in the shower and caught her. A whole tussle happens and he takes her to the ground. The Scripples get out the car and come back because all they see is him choking her. And it's like, oh my God, get off her girl. Now listen, Miss Mama had a little gun and said, pow. And it was like, what? And she ends up shooting him to save her friend. So it's like, okay, hey, you would have done the same thing. Now, low-key, Drea, aka Carmen, has taken out the person that she was trying to get, not even on her hands. I was like, oh, this is a lot. She could actually not take that L. You know what I'm saying? She can't even take that L. That's crazy. Hold on. Kachaz, thank you so much for the PayPal tippy poo. I appreciate the heart, sending it right back to you. Thank you for the love. Also, thank you for the super chat, Farnsworth Bentley. I couldn't stand Mrs. Puff built like the penguin. She got my nerves. It's giving me you in charge of the girls. Listen, she's probably been working there the longest, okay? She's been through a lot. Drea leaves the Scripples at the house. Literally after all that happened, left them there. Can you imagine? This weirdo that you didn't even like, that you were just like, oh, we're going to pay her. She's just going to be the ride tonight. Car breakdown. Dang, girl, it's always something wrong with you. Oh, we've been saved. Everything is fine. We're going to be good to go. Let's get home, man. I'm about to just chill. Oh my God, this girl is getting got. Let's save her. What are we going to do with the body? Just go. We got to go. Left them there. Had to walk back. They all got arrested. This is when we know Mama is really lost in a different world as she is texting Marissa. Marissa's gone, so she's just replying to herself. And it's her using Marissa's phone as a catalyst into making sense out of all of the things that she's doing. Isn't that crazy? I was like, so you need Marissa to tell you what's up. And the thing is, she would play back this video of Marissa talking about F these hoes. We're going to always defend Nyjah because that's our girl. And that's what fans do. And da, 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 da. And she keeps watching it and playing it and watching it and playing it and watching it and playing it. And then texting herself back that. That's how the conversation is happening. That's the reason why she wanted the phone so bad in the first place. And that's why she's going to lose a fit over it. There's the video footage right there. She would watch this back and forth and text herself like Marissa in order to make everything valid that she was doing, to give it validity. Insane. There are people that probably do this right now with different burner phones. Probably have one phone for the regular life. The other phone is probably for all the craziness. And they be texting each other back and forth like, girl, this is who check that phone plan. The next episode, we're seeing, of course, Drea Carmen San Diego hunt somebody else down who is not a Nyjah fan. And she's going for basically Tommy Loren lookalike, right? Another concert is happening right now, but this is not the same sort of era that we were just in the first two episodes. We're now in a different era of the Nyjah show, which is now on the run. This is basically on the run Beyonce Jay-Z moment. We're on that timeline now. It's crazy. This scene was insane because when she walked into this place, it's clearly a private spa, like fitness center. And she's the only Black person there. Not really, but maybe one of the few. The lady doesn't recognize her. And she's like, I'm sorry, you can't get in without a pass. And here comes this white queen trying to be a protector, doing the absolute most, but trying to be that ally girl. Like, oh my God, is this woman giving you a hard time? Really into 2023 because she knows that I know these people. Da, da, da. But in reality, this happens. This happens. It can be a person to walk into a club like that and someone new working there or someone who hasn't been there in a while sees them and profiles them because of color. That is true. At the same time, him doing that white savior shit, D. I was like, girl, this is crazy. I just thought it was so much because I have seen this happen in real time. I've also been the person who had to go through some nonsense like this as well. You could tell I don't want to do it, but let's call it what it is. He probably has a Black woman inside of him kind of complex. And that was very much like, you're my girl. And the way he was talking to her was it was still on a level of low. And don't you know, and don't you do, and don't you this? Yes, girl, baby, all that kind of jazz. Anywho, she used her white gay, got him out the way, and found the person who she was trying to get. She picks up, that's not a dumbbell. I forget what this kettlebell. A kettlebell. And she picks that big bitch up. I'm like, she is about to wear her out in this elevator. Mind you, if this is the club that I think it is, where the security is as top-notch as it is, and they need passes to get through, would there not be a camera on the elevator? I thought this was weird. Now, here comes one of the only other Black people that we see there popping up into the elevator, and he just so happens to have a tour jacket on. Prior to us seeing the situation, Drea Carmen, whatever her name is this week, literally was seeing a post by Nyjah saying, going to support my boo for this on the run running scared tour, right? Boom, here we go. You see a text message come in from Marissa, and Marissa's not with us. So that means, and I need you to really understand how scary and fucked up this is. She pulled out the phone in the elevator with the two of them there and texted herself to. I was like, are you kidding me? This is insane. That's the only way that is even logical, unless that text message in itself is just another hallucination. I think she texted herself like right there. She ends up dropping the bell and goes after this guy who she breaks into his house, and he threatens to call the police, and she works her way around talking this out and saying, a lot of shit's going down and she's just trying to do this, that, and the other, It's just going through a really tough time. She lies and says that she's in a situation where someone is hurting her. And so he uses it as a male savior complex. So I'm going to bring this girl in, protect her. Like, I'm going to help her out and whoop. Now, she is there to find a way to this experience that is being had. And she finds a way through him having his own weakness in junk food. He's literally on a diet. He's lost a lot of weight. He eats healthy now, but she doesn't like the food that he eats. And so she's got to munch and she has her own supply of stuff. He's like, gets into this. He ends up, I guess, see, this is again one of those moments where I'm like, we don't see anything happen, but boom, we're on to the next scene. And it's right after sex. Again, we don't have those moments with her. Yet we saw Chloe getting bat out at the beginning of the episode or whatever, right? It's a lot. Apparently they built something up. He likes her. She's using him. And she finds a way to get backstage to this concert. Like, if you look at these tour jackets, y'all, if you went to the On the Run experience, and this is part 2, right? Excuse me. This is the first On the Run, or I should say Running Scared. The 444. This is the first. This is like the. Oh, excuse me. This is the 444. This is like the Jay-Z concert, and Nija's just there to support her, which is what Beyonce was doing here. This is before On the Run. Excuse me. I'm sorry. If you caught this moment before you got in the comment section, hopefully you got here. This is just the Jay-Z tour, not the Jay-Z tour, the Nija boyfriend tour. Beyonce, Nija, you know the rest. Blah, words. Okay. Anywho, I got there. This was weird. She finds a way to get to the private party because she realizes Nija's there, leaves this guy that she's used for the situation. She ends up getting close to her, and that is when another hallucination begins, because she picks up this plum and bites into it. She bites into it. And it's like this it's such a sensual scene. And then she fades out of her memory or whatever she's thinking of. And it's like, did that girl just bite Nija? And she leaves the scene, flees the scene, right? As she's leaving, the guy's like, isn't that the chick from Love and Basketball? Which, if you remember from Beyonce and all that drama and all the speculation that happened when she got bit at that party, they say it was Sanaa Lathan that did that. That was the rumor. So it was like, wait, what? And it's the fact that they incorporated it into this show that's not Beyonce, but it is Beyonce, but it's not Beyonce, but it's based off of things around Beyonce, because we find out in episode 6, and also from me doing my own research, that this is actually based off of events that have taken place in reality, in real life, but it's been made into this show that plays into this. It's so crazy. So, of course, they showed the social media and all that stuff and all that jazz, right? And she's currently driving through to the On the Run festival. It's supposed to be like the Glastonbury Festival, or I should say Coachella. It's supposed to be like that kind of spill. Like, it's not even is it Coachella? I forget which festival it is, or they're referencing from Beyonce, but it's one of the ones that she's, of course, headlined. And she's like, oh, I'm gotta get to this festival. So she's driving through. She's got blood. She's literally got another car. She apparently took out somebody to get the car. And the police pulled her over, but he really didn't check too much. It's Coachella. Okay, cool. I was right. And, she's finding her way and she's trying to avoid the police. Some Becky with the good hair sees her being harassed by the police and takes that moment to tell him, like, hey, are you bothering her because she's Black? He drives off. She finds someone that protects her in a situation where she feels all alone, and she's trying to get to this festival, which this other person has also told her, we're going there too. Who are you trying to see? Nija? Bet. Also, great. Cool. You should meet some of my friends. So she follows them and she ends up going to this house and she meets this character. What was her name again? Is it Marie? Was Billie Eilish character named Marie? I forget what was her name. We gonna call her Billie Eyelash. Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish. It's a cult, and you can tell just by looking at it, because it's like all the women are dressed in red. Specifically on the first meeting, everyone has something red on. Eva, there we go. I think it's Eva. Yeah, I think it's Eva. I don't know about Eva. Yeah. I think it's Eva. Yeah. Eva. Here we go. And it's really about, celebrating women and, each other and taking steps to better ourselves and leaving things behind and all that kind of jazz, things that you can do with the therapist or possibly just by, not using substances to cloud your judgment. We find out that Eva also is someone who has taken psychology and has done hypnotherapy. I was like, this is the get out portion of the episode. I mean, of the show. This is the get out portion of it, for sure. So what's happening here is that you need to see something, and this is where a lot was telling in this moment. She had nothing to do with the outside world, but she had something on everyone. I feel that she blackmails everyone into her cult, into her following, by finding out something about them that is very personal and deep that would destroy that person. And she does that through her hypnotherapy. She then finds herself also placing those bonds of trust through the hypnotherapy that she does in the sessions that she goes through by planting those seeds in their brain to then change the way that they think themselves. I think every one of the women that are there, all were different people prior to being there. And for over an extensive amount of time, they have been brainwashed. And the house that she's in probably belongs to one of those women that's there. And every house that they go to, the same. And they pick up new women each and every time. What is so good about Drea, Carmen, Chloe, Haley, Vanessa is the fact that, and listen to this, they know she's killed someone and that she has the power and capability of doing that. This part was actually based off of a few years ago. Again, a lot of this show is very much based in reality, and it just uses certain things like those devices that we know of to pull scenes like this together, which makes this amazing. I do know, Kiki, after I was watching some videos on this, that this is the only part though that had nothing to like the death of somebody. That was the only fictional death apparently that played into what they were using as resources through the show. That was apparently the one. This was the only one that was like the one they made up. The rest of them were all based off of crimes built around stands or rabid fans, apparently. This is the only fictional one. So based in true events of a cult, but also the way it ended was definitely its own ride of whatever the fuck that was. So I found this to be amazing. I liked Billie Eilish. I couldn't believe that the lady who only has 3 songs that I enjoy so much, literally only just 3 songs. That's all you got for me, girl. All you got for me. You're an actress. You're pretty damn good. I want to see her in more shit, but I don't know if it can be everything. Like, she reminds me a little bit of Kristen Stewart, but with more of a personality, like a smidgen more. Like, Kristen Stewart is at -5 in volume, and Billie Eilish is at a 3. It's still a very high gap. I'd rather have seen her in Twilight. I'm going to tell you that right now. No shade to Kristen Stewart, all shade to Kristen Stewart. And if you're fans of Kristen, I don't mean that to be rude. This show is for entertainment purposes. I'm just saying. I thought Billie was killing it. I thought it was everything. But Dominique is honestly the star of this show. And I think she needs to be nominated. I really, 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 really need her to be nominated for an Emmy for this show and for a Golden Globe. If she is not, I'm calling shenanigans and foolery. And also blaming the fact that this show came out so close to the award season that already took place, because that sometimes happens during award seasons. Shows that have came out long, they always get pushed to the back a little bit. So I pray the show doesn't lose that drive when it comes to award season, and that it's, you know, whoever is going to throw in the ballot for this, put it in. She deserves it. I can't wait to see what else 2023 has to hold for actresses and actors, but man, at least nominated. God, she's so good, because we watched her change her personality in so many ways and also dive in and out of it in every episode. Like, if you want to look at some, a case for actors and do a study on somebody and like figure out how to, this one right here. I was impressed. 104 of you in this piece. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Do me a favor, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. My name is Matty Rants. We're covering 2 shows today. This is going to be a very long live because I'm breaking a lot down today. Our gaming live for the Quarry tonight will be moved to tomorrow. It'll be both part 5 and part 6. So we'll have a 3-hour live for that, but we'll also do Baddies West. You already know what's up on Saturday. That's Drag Race, and Sunday's the panel. Let's keep on pushing here. Thank you for tuning in. My lips are telling me, baby, you've been talking. My lips are like, bitch, you've been talking. Remoisture. Okay. So, Drea is starting to recognize, Carmen, the names. The reason why she's there is to go to the festival that Nigel's going to be performing at. However, she doesn't have her phone right now, and she doesn't have access to knowing when the act starts, all of that jazz. She knows it's gonna happen, but she doesn't have access to it. So she's like, what's going on? And everyone's telling her, oh, it's gonna be fine. She's gonna go last. You already know they don't do it early. Yeah, we're still gonna go. We're still gonna go to the show. But it's starting to now drive into her, even though she's found some comfort here. She's opened up a bit. She's been able to express herself. She even brought up the fact that she took out her grandmother, and she associated the blood with milk. I spilled the milk. She did the same thing when it came to another situation we're going to talk about later. But like, it's a lot. She's been holding a whole lot back. She finds that what she's doing is actually beautiful to her, and it's strengthening, and she's enjoying it, doing it on behalf of Nigel, taking out these people. But she's also completely broken on the inside from past events that have happened, and she can't associate the blood with blood, but more so milk. And it's like, is that the reason why you were eating pie and all this other stuff afterwards when you go on these rages and you take out these people? It was fucking crazy. But they keep on reassuring her and telling her it's not that big of a deal, until she realizes, while they're in the middle of some prayer circle and meeting and they're meditating and they're all at this fire to release and stuff, she hears a familiar beat. She feels a familiar backdrop, and she's like, I know that music. It's Nyjah. Nyjah's performing right now. Oh my God. That was what I was supposed to be doing. I gotta go. No, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Now, here's where everybody fucked up. And this is where this was telling to Carmen that this is where the problem was, all right? I mean, I'm assuming at this house, Chi-Chi, there ain't no security cameras because they're on that kind of level of crazy, right? The moment they called her Drea, that's when it was over, and that's when it was a wrap. Like, she could have easily been talked through this a little bit more, but when I tell you, that's when it was like, oh my God, you told these people my name? And they were acting as if you told us your name. Did she tell them their name? We don't know. Maybe she was hypnotized and she was comfortable, and they were having that conversation and they were all just doing it. But that was the moment where I was like, She's said, I'm bouncing. They told her, if you leave, we will tell everybody what you did and we will ruin your life. You just need to stay with us, be here with us. We're your family now. It's this, that, and the other. Whoop, 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 whoop. Girl, she ran her over. Or I should say she ran into her. Can I be honest? When she hit her with the car, it didn't look like it was that deep enough to make her actually be like, oh my God, you took her out. I was like, but she kind of taps her with the vehicle. So weird. Okay, that the bump on her head was never explained. The bump on her head came from the first session that took place, and it seems like something else happened in between that, and it was never explained. So were they doing stuff to her? Were there things that were taking place? Was she committing things that were happening? Maybe she was hypnotized when all those moments were taking place. So she ran her over again. I needed to point this out that they were talking about there was no technology and all of her cell phones are gone. Meanwhile, Eva's character, Billie Eilish, or Billie Eilish's character, Eva. Did I just really say that? Eva's character, Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish's character, Eva, has on a smartwatch. I was like, I'm so confused. I'm so confused. That was one of the moments in the show where I was like, okay, y'all, like, so is she the only one with something or what? Because that is not a regular watch. Anywho, Drea continues to run her ass over. She also takes out the friend who stopped her in the first place, gets to the concert and finds out that it's too late. The show was over with and she has to turn around. So she missed the show doing all that crap and ended up having to watch it on Twitter like the rest of us do that don't go to the shows. And she was so upset. Now, here's the thing. When we get into this, when we talk about it here and do all that, right? She didn't take out everybody at the house that we know of. So I was a little confused here. Like, I was like, so there were people who were left there that she didn't run over or drive off or pop off in the head. There were a lot of women that were there. So what happened? Are they not going to say anything? That confused me. The next episode, we find Mama in a phone store trying to get the phone reactivated. Now, check this out. You can see in the information here that it's Marissa's phone that she's trying to get turned back on, but her father deactivated the phone. Mind you, it's probably on a family plan. So she had that phone on for years. I need y'all to really think about this. She had the phone on for years. And the family just got a hold of the fact that the phone had been on, right? Probably wanted to keep her number on so they could listen to the voicemails, this, that, and the other. It's their daughter's phone. We totally understand. Now, if you don't know the internet personality, Ricky, I don't know where you've been living, but he's a bop and a half. He's everything. Live and breathe. Too funny. Too everything. That girl. I live for Ricky. Ricky played this role down. I never played it the same damn way. Girl, what is going on over here? I can't just unlock the phone for you. This is kind of getting a little strange right now. Like, can you just get a hold of her dad? And he said, let me just call him right now. Let me call the dad and just do this for you. She was offering him cash. Listen, now, Farnsworth, if she knew about them girls, and that's crazy to me that she wouldn't have looked this up or found this information, because the stunt girls will tell you, baby, get the screen fixed. Get the screen fixed, plug the phone up to a computer, let that sucker upload, baby, do a hard drive reset and call it a wrap. Everything's moved to the computer. It was definitely an older phone, could have played that off. I don't know why she wasn't thinking that shit. I was like, girl, that was an easy run. Like, you're like, all of that would have transferred. It would have been nothing. Oh, it was so funny. But at the same time, it was very much like, okay, she's not really that smart. She's not completely intelligent here. She is definitely a person that reacts and acts on emotions. And she, again, is not a cognizant thinker. in how she approaches things. Remind yourself who this is and how she's been operating. And then let's get on over to what we saw from episode 6. So while she's back at West Oaks Mall, what's up? She sees the Running Scared tour, which is the On the Run tour. You already catch the drift. Now, I'm going to show you something that I thought was really fire about this. Do you see the Houston, Texas date? And you see it was at Minute Maid Park? Okay, so I was at that show. And these are literally the dates of the show. It could have blew me up a little bit. I was like, wait, what? I was at that show. I was like, oh. See, seeing a concert at Minute Maid Park is something else because it's like a baseball stadium, and so it has an open, it opens up and closes, all that kind of jazz. It's an experience. It's a hot one, but yeah, I thought that was crazy. But she sees the former coworker that she had, or I should say boss, at that t-shirt stand that her and Marissa used to work at. And the coworker's like, oh my God, Drea, you're alive or you're okay. She hasn't seen her in years. And so she's catching up with her. She buys her some food and she's just talking some shit. She just want to make sure she's good. You know how it is when you see somebody you ain't seen in a minute. And it's like you always were concerned, or at least you knew them. It's like, girl, sit down, let's talk. Let's catch up real quick. And so she was, just checking in on her and seeing what was up. And I think this episode, or at least this scene here, deserves the Emmy nomination. This deserves the Emmy nomination. This right here. She starts making up this whole lie about how she met Nyjah, and then she went on tour with her, and they are friends. And as she's she's spilling all of this, she's crying. It's as if it's breaking her down. And this was creepy, very scary and odd, but also disturbing in a bravo moment for Dominique here. It was like, what? The friend knew she was lying. Amy, I'm going to answer you now. She knew she was lying, but in that moment, what are you going to do? Girl, are you crazy? Really? You hadn't done all those things. Like, this person is literally crying while discussing something so fantastical to where, think about it. Wouldn't you have seen her on someone's social media or in a press photo or anything like that if that had actually happened? She would have seen it. Everyone knows she's one of the most popular people in the world. Think about it now. She let her lie and she let her go because that was her fantasy, and she knew that she was a fan from the jump, but it had gotten to that level. Like, even the way Drea was responding to her was very defensive and very abrasive and rude. Even all the stuff that she was, every bit of it, until they talked about that moment. Fucking scary, man. We get to the fact that Drea now has found her way back to Marissa's family's house, the house that she used to live in, apparently, which is really sad. We see how they did Drea in this photo. They literally folded her picture up. They completely excommunicated her out the family. At this point, we don't know that she's adopted. We assume that this is her mother and father, and they're just being jerks. We find out that they also try to have another child, and maybe that was the reason why they were trying to fill in those gaps. But I think that is what she was under the impression of this entire time until later. Now, moving forward here, the family has come home while she's in the house, because what happens is she wants to get Marissa's phone turned back on. So she's going to make them do it by holding them at gunpoint. But the dad got a shotgun. Honey, listen, living in the South, baby, you're going to have something in your house. People crazy out here. And he's ready to literally end her life. And it's like, what? And you find out in this moment, and it was such a disgusting display of an individual or people who are so selfish. They used her as a check because they needed the money because his mother was in the hospital and the hospital bills were too high and they were going broke. So they took in this child because when you adopt a child, they also give you a certain amount of money to make sure that child's taken care of, et cetera, or whatever. And so they were using her as a paycheck. A situation happened where at a birthday party, Drea stabbed someone And the parents had to apparently get rid of her because it was bad on them and they had to pay too much money. So he literally in this moment told his wife to go on somewhere, because in reality, if they just take her out now, if they just get rid of her now, no one will care. Disturbing scene. Disturbed. I was over here like, wow, man, like, wow. Apparently, Farnsworth, you can get about $10,000 too. It can be even more than that, depending on the situation. So Drea finds her way into her former sister-in-law, the only family member that she felt ever understood her's room, and she's having a full-on anxiety attack, a panic attack when she was just hitting herself. Y'all, this was insane to watch her. It's like she's going through this moment of seeing the person that she only loved and she felt only loved her. And at the same time, this man's trying to break in the door. She jumps out the window. He's shooting at her from the window, saying all this horrible shit. It was fucking crazy. And that was the end of the episode. And you realize there's only 2 episodes left of the series. And we get into some of the real stuff here. Did I just forget all the detective photos? Was that what I did? Did I just forget all the detective stuff I did? Oh, no. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I have the detective stuff, or did I just go? No. Okay, let me talk to you about the detective in episode 6 first. Okay. I forgot the pictures. My bad, y'all. I have them on my computer. I forgot to put them in the slide. So this episode 6, it changes the entire pace of the show, and we end up finding out that it turns into like this real true crime documentary thing. It reminded me a lot of what happened with Roanoke for American Horror Story, and I hated it. Okay, we come to find out that there's a detective that's looking for Drea, and one thing about it is that she recognized that with the pattern of things that were happening and the way crime scenes were left, it seemed like there was a Black woman that was committing these things. But she was laughed at and waved off because she was a Black woman detective, and because based off of like incidences in the past, they don't picture someone who is a serial, you know what I'm talking about, being a Black woman. And so it's like, we're not going to put this into, they didn't take her seriously because of the way normally how it operates in those styles, like, right? So the detective is going through it. Can someone help out Legendary Legend here? I gotta stay on track, y'all. We got to keep this going here. Help that baby out. The detective goes through each and every one of the crime scenes that she left. There's junk food everywhere. Everything's displaced. You have hair care products out. She just wasn't even trying to be clean about it. She may have taken care of the body. She may have removed most of the stuff, but not little things. We come to find out that the detective went to the parents' house, and then you see a different actor. Did you notice that it was a different actor? It's because that's supposed to be real. Did you see how weird that shit was? Oh, I'm so mad I don't have these screenshots. My apologies for those of you, and you're like, Matt doesn't have the pictures up. For those of you who watch the show, you know what I'm talking about, but I forgive me here. But basically, through the pictures that I would have shown, they make what was a fictional story based off of true events now turn into like this true crime story where they're actually looking for a person named Drea, and it's a real case. It's a real case. Everything that has happened, including a fan running up on the stage at it was like a Jay-Z concert that Beyonce was at, that happened in real life. The strippers, that full story about all that happened in real life. That was a real story about that man that got shot. All of that was real. Finding these women and these folks that were committed crimes, and they went back and did research, found out they talked a lot of shit about Beyonce. That was all real. What we saw was a depiction of that in a fictionalized format, in a story that would make sense for a particular person who is on the run from the police that this all matches to. They even showed her real face. They had the whole mugshot and everything. Donald Glover in this episode of episode 6 was like, we're making a show based off of the Beehive, and it was like, what? So all of this was real, but not real, if that makes sense. That's episode 6. It just completely throws you out of what we're looking at. And it throws you right back in. And it's like, okay, we're now back to Drea again, who now goes by Tony and is no longer presenting herself in a feminine form. She's giving stud vibes. That's a whole stud right there. That's a grown ass stud, baby. Because the police are looking for her and she knows it. And it happened after Chi Chi. This is how you know this is when it got kind of crazy, right? Because in episode 6, they show a scenario where she runs on the stage at a concert and she got detained and arrested, right? And she's like, we got her. I'm about to go to the city now and we're going to go get her. That's how episode 6 ends. Episode 7, I think, is the events that happened prior to the end of episode 6. Period, is how that goes. And I was just like, oh, that's what's happening. And this is when she finds out about her. I thought that was kind of crazy. So Dre has been on the run, who now goes by Tony, and she currently don't have a cell phone or nothing. She just has vehicles. She's been sleeping in the car, that full bit. She's literally on the run. And they used the real on the run footage. Ain't that crazy, Sarah Rose? So it's like, so it's real. And this is a story about her and other stories about other people that have been put together in this one person story. Donald Glover, I was like, oh, this is some shit. So let's get to it. Tony sees this girl trying to get an Uber ride. She's attracted to her. Mind you, the parents of Marissa didn't want Tony, Drea, whatever, being there because they also thought that Drea had a crush on Marissa. And as an adopted child in their household, they didn't want that to be the impression placed on Marissa of being a lesbian. That was another reason why they kicked her out the house. Now look at how Drea went to Tony and is now acting out her full lesbian fantasy. Lesbian. Do you see? Deep. She even alluded to it earlier in in the season when she was, or I should say the series, where she was like, you know, I'm all about women empowerment, and all that kind of jazz. I was like, okay, interesting. So anywho, she sees this girl, her drunk roommate and all that kind of stuff, all that jazz. Shout out to everybody that's seen the show and shout out to everybody that's respecting me in this chat a little bit. I want to get through this here. It does distract me when you're like, I don't even know what he's talking about. I'm just like, y'all, let me get through this. I'm about to get to Ultimate Girls Trip. If you're here for that, my apologies. I appreciate you for tuning in, but like, I'm trying to narrate a story here. I appreciate y'all for tuning in though, but like, I'm glad for those who have seen it, so it doesn't sound like I'm talking in thin air, since a lot of people asked me to talk about this show with you today. Maybe I should not have gone live. Maybe I should have done an edited version. I'm gonna keep on going though, because I'm getting through this. We're almost to Girls Trip. We're almost there. We find out Dre don't have no money, but seems to always find herself in places where she needs to have money to do things with, right? She notices that her girl's going to be in concert. She wants to go to this concert, but mind you, she's still on the run from the police. They're tracking her down car by car, moment by moment. They almost got her. You know what I'm saying? Drea, Tony, Carmen, Cynthia Bailey, I don't know. Whatever her name is this week, she is literally getting this close to always being caught. Now, the girl that she likes, man, she seems to be always in the right place at the right time. And, you know, she's like, hey, can you give me a ride back home? No, I don't have my car. It's cool. You know, we can, you know, get back together. We'll take an Uber. They want to do something. Ladies, I have questions here. Now, ladies, I have questions here. I'm a man. I do not have the right equipment to have this conversation about menstrual cycles. I need to have this moment here because when I tell you, I was so confused. And I was also like, isn't what she's doing unsanitary to the point where she could have toxic shock? She's about to get down with old girl and she ends up, you know, like she has to run at this point. And it was like, what? And she has her period. And I'm like, the blood is on the underwear and she just lifts it back up and puts on her thing and just continue. Now I'm sitting here thinking about my sisters and I'm thinking about like women and just the women's studies class I took in college. Like I'm thinking about a lot of stuff that I went through, even through sex ed and listening to like, you know, certain things. And I'm going, Now, wait a minute. I know she was embarrassed and she had to ask her, hey, I got my period, I'm a stud, whoop, my bad. I ain't a dude, I still bleed, all that kind of mess. Whatever. Sorry, microphone. I'm just like, so is she not already on death's door? I know it doesn't immediately take place, but at the same time, I'm like, could it possibly be that she could get a bacterial infection immediately in that moment for just walking around further in that kind of case? Because I know how important it is for homeless women to have sanitary napkins and to worry about hygiene in reference to that because of the monthly cycle. So I was just... And then I'm thinking, like, wait, if she already was on her period and then she had like a sanitary napkin in there, and what if it was just in there and it's been in there and da 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 da? Whoo! I had so many questions, and I was like nervous because I was just like, wait, what? Like, okay, now she got the napkin, she was good to go. It's real love, baby. Now, mind you, this person has told Drea, the obsessed fan of Nyjah. That's what I was thinking, Chi-Chi. I was thinking to myself, like, I mean, even like for a cut and blood and other infections that could happen, like it doesn't really matter how long it's been there. If it's just access to it, it's like, it's just called free bleeding. It won't make her sick, just gross. I'm going to trust you on that, Dig It. I'm just going over videos and other things that I've seen in reference to conversations about why it's important. But I don't know. I was just, it just had me going like, well, I think that's the reason why I was bothered by it, because I was thinking to myself, how long has she been going without having one? Because she's been on the run. She has no money, no access to getting things. Okay, that's where I think my brain was going. It was like, well, how long has she been doing this? Because if she went to a clinic and still had to like get free help, she'd have to give her information. You have to have things. It doesn't happen unless you have a tampon in for many hours. Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because I was just like, I was thinking to myself, wait, has this happened often? Like, wait. And it made me think like, okay, I need y'all to explain this for the class, because I don't want nobody running around going, oh, hey, my Hanes is going to hold me up this week. Who? Sister? It may have snuck up on her. It does happen. Okay. Because that shit had me like, this is a lot. And it made me like, again, Sydney, that point, lack of female hygiene or women to show her how to take care of themselves. These are the conversations that we talk about that are now being challenged in schools to have, because parents feel like it's inappropriate to have them. Learning how to use a sanitary napkin, sex education, condoms, safe sex practices like that. Isn't it, like, think about that, Sydney, and everybody else. Like, this kind of brings it to reality here. There are people who don't know because of the environment that they're in that won't give them the access to this information. And then you ask for people we have to stop the spread of this and the other. Okay, it starts in the classrooms. It starts at school where everyone's supposed to learn about things. But, not you calling her Manny Fresh. Listen, she can't afford the flowers. She has no money. She's been using other people's credit cards to get things done. Like, you got to understand, this lady has been literally like moving from car to apartment to hotel to wherever she can stay. She has found some stability with this woman who doesn't even like the arts that she likes, doesn't even share that, but finds comfort in somebody that is, not just paying attention to them, but showing them love. And they haven't had that at all since Marissa's death. And it's just like, ooh. Now, if I haven't been happier to see somebody in a long time, girl, Cree Summer, my favorite voice actor and one of my favorite actors in life, Cree Summer. This man right here is also one of the finest Black men to ever be on a television screen or movie screen. I used to love seeing him in everything he was in. I was like, you still look good too. I was like, hey, brother. But like, Cree is legendary. She's an icon. Like, she's an icon. Okay. And I was so mad because I'm like, oh no, Cree's on the show. Please don't take out Cree. Don't take out my sister. But she was meeting Drea, of course, with her girlfriend, and they were being very open. This family was finding her to accept her. I want to remind you, Drea doesn't have a family. Drea's also on the run. Drea's going through all this kind of crap. And all of these good things are starting to happen for her. And this would just be the case if she was normal and if she wasn't on this road that she was. There's a lot that Drea would have if she chose differently in her life. A lot of bad stuff happened to her too that took her into this place. But like, think about it. If she had made different decisions, man, this could be her happy with someone who may not have the same likes as her, but has an accepting family that appreciates her, that loves their daughter, all that kind of, you know what I'm talking about? It's like, there's a lot of blessings that you would have had in your life, but you lied through the majority of it and you were living a complete fantasy. The I love yous were exchanged, but here's where a lot is taking place. Rent is due. It's the first of the month. It's also the birthday of her girlfriend. And she buys her Nyjah tickets for her birthday, an artist that she doesn't even like, but the one that she is obsessed with. So you bought her tickets for a concert that she's not going to want to go to, but you want to be a part of because that's your girl. She gives them to her, happy birthday. Mama's not happy because she knows how much those tickets are and they're behind on rent. And she's already had to ask her family to pay the rent, just like how Marissa had to do the same thing when Drea was living with her sister. It is bonkers, okay? Girl, listen. I'm over here like, I need to get my DragCon tickets and my plane tickets, and rent is due on the 1st. I would be so stupid to buy those things first before I paid my rent after everything I just went through. After the Vegas nonsense, after the Houston COVID situation, after when I tell y'all, there is no way on God's green earth, after everything I have been through, after every bad decision I've ever made in my life, that I would make a decision like a concert over a roof over my head. I don't put anyone before me like that. She went in and dragged her for her fucking for every bit of fresh that was Manny. Manny stale. There you go, Keeves. She had to take her out. All of that was happening. And she expressed how she felt and said all those things, and you had to take her out. And laid with the body. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. But you want to know what's funny, y'all? Isn't it interesting how every time she made this decision, every time, she'd always fuck herself over in the long run. Look what happened here. She took the tickets, folded them up, and put them in their pocket. You then strangled her, laid with the body like some weirdo, and burnt the tickets up with the body while you're trying to get away with murder. Drea. What an idiot. Out of all of that, and mind you, this is the first time you weren't really crying about the situation. You were a little upset, but you really were trying to make it to the long run. You get to the concert, you can't get in because what you're going to tell them, you lost your ticket. You find a scalper. You then take him out, literally kill him in a car, take the ticket, the best ticket that he had. You know what I'm saying? Gets in the concert, y'all. Gets to the front stage, jumps on stage, just like it showed in the video from episode 6, a real video from the On the Run tour or I think so with Beyonce and Jay-Z. It was either a festival or it was a tour. I forget which one it was, where a fan ran on stage and they had to get him. This is literally playing out from episode 6, like as if this is what happened. Gets in there, jumps on stage. This is when it got really fucking freaky. Hey, Saucy. Hey, baby. A sister. Come on. Come on. The detective. The detective. That shit was so the way she said it was so funny. It has to be a sister. She said, I found hair care products and junk food and all of that. Listen. Manny Fresh is trying to get on stage for Beyonce. He wants his royalties for whatever song he thinks she stole. Nasia, I have to talk to you, please, please. All of a sudden, everything gets quiet. And we see Nasia, but it's Marissa's face merged into Nasia. And that's when I was like, and scene. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. Her fondest, happiest memory is of Nasia's music, and also that is associated with her first kill with her grandmother and the disassociative part of it all. We then get into Marissa after going through all of that crap with the family situation, and Marissa's still dealing with her as a sister, and they have that bond with Nasia, and then losing that one person that literally understood them and dealt with them and dealt with it. Honey, when this happened, I was like, and scene. Because every kill, everything she did was for Nasia, but it was also for Marissa. I think that this entire scene, outside of her running on stage and them grabbing her, I want to say the last real part of this was here. The last real part of this was here. James, I agree. They did it on purpose just so you would know something was up, because it was like, what the fuck? Like that was me too. I was like, why does it look like that? This was the last real scene here of what was taking place, of her being dragged away. Once this happened, this is daydream mode. This is we have completely lost grip with reality, and she is gone forever. Put her in the nut house. She asked her, now sing for me. Who? And she said, I love you all. And everyone clapped. Pause, end it. I wanted to end the show right there. I was like, this is ridiculous. They end up running out, like, like she's in, like Nasia's in love with her, and they're this couple, or this on the run moment, or this fantasy of her drifting away. It's everything that she said happened in episode 5. If you remember when she was talking to the former coworker, and she's like, we did all of these things. This is all of the stuff that she said was happening. Like, was how they met and what took place, and like all of it. Gets in the back of the car and she's sobbing, and it's, you're okay. And I think in reality, she was in the back of a cop car being booked and about to be taken in and all that kind of stuff, because she's going to have to admit many crimes that have taken place. I don't know if the person who actually committed the crimes that they were referencing all this to has been caught, because in the end of episode 6, they show a mugshot and ask for information on this person. It was like, what? But like here, what we realize is that all of this in reality, if any of it is true, this all could have been a daydream. But we know that those murders were real in a different sense. Swarm was a very, very collective piece of crazy. It had some holes in the plots and certain moments that just did not make any sense. But the overall story about it, it's deep, and it can show where a fan's love for an artist can turn into an obsession that turns into something crazy. Yeah, the full thing was fake. We all know that. It's a fictional story, but it's just based off of real events that have happened and made in this format about what's going on. The Drea situation, though, that full bit, I think there is somebody who is actually out there in reference to it. That is on the run still. Drea may not be a real person, but I'm assuming there is somebody who has literally committed things that have happened that has not been caught yet that could be going through something like this. That phone number, I saw it on a video, is actually a hotline, but there are little voice messages on that. It's Easter egg. Wow. Yeah, that's where my mind is at with this one. I'm like, no, this is based off of a lot, but I feel this was genuinely made just to show how far this fandom can go. So Beehive, Barbs, Swifties, Navy, whatever it is, y'all, it don't never have to go this deep. It don't ever have to go this far. And also, there are people out there who are going through some serious mental health issues that do need some serious help too. This was also a study in that. It's mental health, it's obsession, fandom. So much to unpack with this show. So yeah, I give this show an 8 out of 10 personally. I'm minusing the 2 because there were a couple of moments where I was like, that don't make no damn sense. And what is this about? And, we're just gonna pretend that didn't make any, that this was supposed to be like logical. But other than that, I liked it a lot. I liked that it was only 7 episodes. It was very easy to consume. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Swarm. You should check it out. It's pretty good. Pretty good show. I'd watch it yourself if you're like, this is an interesting description that Matty gave me. And I kind of gave you the show, but not really. It's something you have to honestly experience yourself. Seriously. Amy, I would put a Barb in that position too, with how they be exposing doxing and putting people's lives at risk while we're talking about it. That's currently happening in real time, child. Listen. But that's why I take myself away from the standum of it all. I love B. I'm a big fan of her. That's my number one. Sade up there, Erica Badu up there, just got the rest of them like that. Ladies in music, period. But I would never go as far as to think that I would need to take it to this level of showing my love for somebody. It's ridiculous. So at the 1 hour and 45-minute marker here, our baby M is going to be coming through. Hey, C Diggy, what's up? Did you want to join in on the ultimate girls trip part, friend? Did you want to step on in here real quick? Because I'm about to start that up right now. I'll send you the link if you feel like it. If you feel like it. Everyone give a shout to C Diggy One. They cover a lot of Housewives content on their channel, and they also work with another good friend of mine, Alexandra Diane Rogers. Make sure to give them a like and a share if you don't know and you already know. But yeah, C Diggy, let me know if you want to jump in on this one because I'm about to go in. But yeah, check out Swarm. It's a really, really good one. Did I ever tell you I got a DM from a Barb threatening to cut my tongue out? I'm not surprised. They've tried to come for me too, friend. Trust me, I had somebody literally threaten me as well. I also had one of Sydney Starr's fans try to get me into an entire argument with her. They made an entire account, screenshot and everything, made a new account just to go tell her I was talking shit about her, and I really wasn't. It's weird. But yeah, Swarm was good. All right, so we're moving on to Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Oh my God. Reminder, this will be a weekly live review starting Wednesday next week. Today is sort of like a 3-episode run of it all. As a reminder, I am a Housewives fan. I don't cover it on my channel because when I first started my channel, y'all weren't really feeling it like that, or you didn't discover me yet. And it was Drag Race that really pulled me through. So I was always going to be on that Drag Race train. But I do love, live, and breathe for the Housewives. And I have seen all of the franchises that are going to be discussed, or at least the representatives on this Ultimate Girls Trip. Let me see here. I'm just going to send it to you anyways, Chris, because I don't know what your life is about right now. Just if you want to join. Work mother. Okay. All right. Okay, I just sent you the link here. Here we go. There is a lot of drama that begins and starts this season of Ultimate Girls Trip. And a lot of this is going to be used throughout the entirety of this video. It's so much when you did this and when you did this and when you do that. But I also want to be very clear here that there is one person who is responsible for the majority, if not every argument that has taken place on the first 3 episodes of this show. And that is you, Giselle Tree fucking Ring Neck Bryant. Okay? Miserable woman you are. From you telling people they can't speak Spanish in front of you, to you completely throwing Heather under the bus, knowing damn well head and shoulders can't defend herself. Okay? Disclaimer, this program's for entertainment purposes only, and content is not intended to malign any religion, race, company, individuals, or wigs. All opinions expressed by MattyRants and program participants are solely their personal views and do not reflect the opinions of every human being on the planet. No hate should be sent to any of the individuals or mentioned on this program or the shows. Don't be a jerk. I need to put that disclaimer up because get ready. Okay. Who cares about Salt Lake City? Apparently, a portion of people do. The fact that Mary Cosby has to come back for the next season really is telling of them needing their color factor to be quoted. Listen, the Mormon cousins come into this piece here with Heather and Whitney having their own drama from the previous season, and all involves Jen Shah, as well as Heather writing a book called Bad Mormon, Whitney finding her to be a hypocrite. You're my cousin, you should have my back. You're my cousin, you should have my back. It's the least interesting drama of all. But we're going to be getting a lot of it, apparently. God. Let's move forward here. Before we even get to the house, let's just talk about it. Giselle, these are your wigs. You can never read anybody. Do you understand me? You could never come for someone. This is your wig. These are the units you pay for. You could never, sister. You could never. You could never. Giselle and Candace have their own issues because Candace and Giselle have been arguing since the moment, Candace popped up on the scene. Anybody darker than Giselle, she's got a problem with. Whoa! Matthew. Oh, goodness. Woo. My goodness. I must stop. You're not ready for me this week. Woo, girl. Anywho. But let's be very clear. She does pick fights with dark-skinned women on the show. And when people do bring that up, and I like to not always be like, well, she's not a colorist. I don't want to say that is the case. However, the tendencies are real. It's very clear. And I was on Scotty's channel and I was defending her at one point in time and got dragged by my light skin neck because, again, people like to throw that at you when it's like, oh, I'm going to find a reason why you mad at me. It's like, girl, I don't care. Have you seen my family? Find something new with me. But Giselle, how do we start? Monique, Wendy, Candace. Whoop, that's 3. Charisse, too, if we really want to be funny about it, she had problems with Charisse at one point in time. Mm-hmm. That's 4. Robin's cool. Her and Ashley had issues. They moved past it. That was quick. It was really about Michael Darby versus Ashley. She's an interesting one. She wears the same wig, and if not, one that's been curled. I know it smells. But her and Candace have issues because she basically brought in Chris. I sent you the damn link. What's tea? Her and Candace have issues because she basically said or insinuated that Candace's husband was trying to hit on her or put her in a situation that was sexually inappropriate. And she did it on camera, like brought that to attention on camera. If Candace and her were supposed to be friends, would they have not already made that conversation in private. So that way it'd been like, hey girl, before I talk to you about this on the show, whoop, 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 this is what happened. Like, talk about it with me. Okay, C Diggy is here. This means I have to put C Diggy in my description later. I gotta re-edit my description. But listen, we got a light co-host right now. He's gonna be here for just a little while we talk about this. 30 minutes, basically. Okay, 30 minutes? Because you're talking about 8:30 Eastern, right? I'm talking to you, Chris. You're talking about 8:30 Eastern? Because you wrote 8:30. Oh, okay. All right, so 30 minutes. He ain't won't be here long. Anywho, it's C Diggy 1.
Hey.
What's up, Chris?
Good. I literally just
I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
I cannot.
Oh. Let me see.
Are you on mute, honey? Honey? Are you on mute, Christopher?
Testing.
No.
Testing.
Can y'all hear Chris? Or is that just me? She said, man, this is an impromptu. Y'all can hear him? Why can't I hear him?
Okay, I'm like,
what's going on? Ooh, Vanessa. Hold on, Chris. What's going on? Oh, never mind, Chris. Hi, how's it going?
Oh, hi.
I had the audio on the TV and the TV's on mute.
No problem. I literally just finished my review. That's why I'm kind of burnt out because I did 3 episodes in one sitting.
Right now, currently, and I just did Swarm, so you better, honey, a 3-hour live today, Chris.
It took me all day, though.
So. I'm just happy that we get 1 episode next week.
Oh, yes.
Because
that's New Jersey.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing mine on Wednesdays. That's going to be my new afternoon show because this show is too much. It's too much. Chris, let's move through this here because I want us to get to the real nitty-gritty of it all. What'd you think of the house? She was cute, right?
That's that Peacock budget.
Ooh.
3
I love
floors, 29,000 square feet, 8 bedrooms, 8 baths. Everyone has a good room except for Leah, which I don't mind.
Funny story. Matt used to live in an 8-bedroom, 7.5 bathroom house a long time ago when my pop was rich. So I know this lifestyle a little bit.
You got money.
But we've been broke since. So I was that rich girl going to the Hawaii trips every summer, all up until I turned 14. And then dad made bad decisions. And then it's a hard knock life. I had got my ass checked real quick, but I do know what this shit feel like, girl, when you got somebody sitting in the house ready to call Pepsi. I was here for it. I was like, bitch, get me back to this. But, not as on TV. 26,900.
Oh, 26.
I come with the screens. Now, Alexia and Marisol are getting ready for this trip. Y'all, we're going to pass this point and move on because Jen Shaw somehow was a topic of discussion in the first episode. Why, Chris?
Because the trip was literally 2 days after she pled guilty.
Oh, so they didn't really have nothing to talk about. Okay.
Yeah, like it was 2 days. Like the trip was 2 days because Heather just came from New York with Jen. Like, because she was at her sentencing. Not her sentencing, like just her plea.
But still, like Heather.
She's a friend till the end.
She's head and shoulders. Yeah, that's what she is. Mm-hmm. That no-neck monster. I'm that linebacker. Let's get into this here. Pepsi, God bless you. Because at least you're not at Dorinda's house. Giselle being the first one there is very much neck behavior, making sure she gets a good room, even though she didn't get what she wanted. They were all pre-assigned. Let's talk about the first elephant in the room here. And I'm not talking about clearly who you think I'm talking about, but this was some bullshit to another level. Now, they grill Heather about Jen Shaw, but when Leah comes into the room and Heather makes that comment, I don't know if it was that deep until Giselle made it even deeper. Like, it is kind of a thing to say, but she meant it lightheartedly, and they sort of had a conversation about it. But it's the fact that later on, Giselle was like, oh, well, she had mentioned something. I thought that was rude. And I couldn't believe she would say something like that. Because that wouldn't be me. And I'm like, what? Like, bitch, hold up, Giselle. Like, they had just talked about it. You just brought, like, this moment, right? You just brought it back up again.
Well, there was a reason why Leah was offended, and I kind of understood in that regard because this was two separate occasions. So when Leah like first arrived, that's when Heather said that what did she say? Something about like getting her drunk or something or sober. And
well, she was like, I know you're on your sober journey and I want to support you, but I wish we could get you drunk. And it was like,
right.
I agree with that. Like, I'm like, okay. But
then in this moment right here, this picture, like Heather shot herself in the foot because she told Leah that she read her book. And in Leah's book, she talks about addiction and struggle. And if she knows all this, because Heather's a fan, why would you do that on two occasions?
I hear you, Chris, and I receive it, and I'm gonna still turn it back to this one right here. We're gonna bring it back. This one, this beige monster in the middle, we're gonna put it right there.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Giselle
at all. And the problem, and that's where Heather has an issue because she's such a fan. Like, you're a housewife, but you're low-key a fan this season to me, because every time you get in these confessionals, wow, the gauntlet's been thrown down. Oh, the Hunger Games are on, man. I watch this on TV. Just tell us that you enjoy watching Black people fight. Anywho, I'm just like, okay, girl, what's going on here? But Giselle and her tacky behavior, I just thought it was rude. I couldn't believe you would bring that up. They were talking about it in this moment, and Heather was just trying to explain herself. And of course, Giselle's like, that's rude. But then it's Leah coming in here, and Giselle, well, I want to clear this up. It's like, what? Portia's just minding her business, looking at her titties. Oh my goodness. It was the beginning of the end of my any sort of whatever I have for Giselle, because I always try to defend her because she carries the bones of the show, and I appreciate that. But this was like, wow, you just met these people. You talked to Heather on the phone prior to all of this too. Wow.
Well, Giselle is just like, dance, puppets, dance. Like, she's just having fun. And look, she
getting the Potomac. They don't know her, so she can play with them a little bit. Chris, how this outfit?
Oh my goodness. You can take this one.
Well, listen. You know, A League of Their Own was a great movie. What else? I enjoyed Monster 2. Charlize Theron, Best Picture. Mm-hmm.
This was atrocious. This is like watercolor newspaper, like this bunched up.
I would have said a folded napkin with too many utensils in it.
That wrinkly skirt.
It's a skirt with this top. It just
she doesn't know her proportions.
She don't know her body at all. Listen, hey, Nina West is a great live. We love Nina West. We love her. Okay, Liam, I see you.
She needs to dress her.
Listen, Tina Burner looks great on TV again. All right, let's move on. Let's see. Not Giselle was happy for the chicken wings. I said, girl.
Look, that's me. Oh, they got fried chicken?
Listen, but it's Thai food. We gonna eat regardless. Like, it's always good.
Also, with Portia, when she said, oh, can you give me some KFC, Pepsi? KFC is the bomb in different countries. I had it in Paris. It's the bomb.
I heard KFC is that girl in Thailand and the Philippines too, because Jiggly tells me, oh, bitch, you ain't had no fried chicken, so you have it over here. And I'm like, I've had some fried chicken in Jamaica. Yes. Oxtails too will never taste the same to me anywhere else, because when I had them in Jamaica, I was like, that's the right way to have them. We're at the table. They're taking a shot. Cheers for us having a great day. Giselle starts drama again.
This is the second time she came at Heather. I'm just like, oh,
in the same day, within probably an hour in between the first time. And this didn't have nothing to do. It was, what was this? It went from, hold on. She was like, either it was Whitney or Leah. It kept going back and forth between those two. And it was Whitney this time. And it was over their issue. Like, okay, so wait a minute with you all and your problems. Like, have y'all fixed that up? Have y'all addressed it? I'm looking at her like, what? Like, get out of here. You know, Whitney brings up the fact that Heather pushed her into a wall. The girl's like, girl, what? Like, they didn't even watch their season. No one watched Salt Lake City.
It was a key point that it happened at the table in episode 2, and I was like, none of these ladies clearly watch Salt Lake City. If we get to that part, I'll let you know the part. But
no, we can run there really in reality. Let's keep pushing through because they just go to dinner. Giselle, you are a dirty neck bitch for this. You old rotten scrotum sack looking neck having asshole. First of all, don't you ever tell somebody what language they can speak in front of you because you're insecure and you need to know if people are talking about you.
That made me very uncomfortable. I didn't like that.
Like, how dare you? Like, we're also, mind you, we're in another country where people already speak a different language. Are you telling Pepsi to only speak English too? Because you already talking about you?
And that was a bullshit excuse. She's talking about her daughters.
My twins talk about me behind my back. So does your ex-husband too, while he's... Hold on. I know. Thank you. All right. Listen. I'm getting sick of her in this inflatable tube neck. I'm getting sick of her in these inside pipes from an old apartment unit. I'm getting sick of her. Okay.
I'm glad they called her out though. And she didn't do it again.
But isn't it Rich Alexia is the one that's because on her own show, it's like, girl, don't you do this same shit too, where you be asking questions, but when people ask you, no, girl, it's not the same thing. But it's so funny the producers are playing into Giselle with the Giselle's translation.
Thank God she's not white, because she would have been canceled immediately.
I mean, at this point, Giselle, why don't you mind your own business? It's like, imagine they're talking about something like the sky, and she's like, you can't do that because I'm afraid you're going to be talking about me. It's fucking ridiculous. You know, Alexia brought it up. Like, I think you honestly ask a lot of questions because you don't like talking about yourself. Candace felt so... Baby, I know Candace was like...
Oh, look, Alexia, she clocked her.
Clocked it. Mm-hmm. Not... Hold on. Piece of material, thank you for the super chat. It's giving traction alopecia for a neck. I can't. Listen.
So I just want to preface everything that I don't fuck with Candace. Let's just get that straight now.
I know I be seeing comments.
Right. Okay. So it just speaks a lot to Candace's character that, you know, she has this fake truce with Giselle. Like, I don't know. Like, she's like warning people about Giselle, but yet she's breaking bread with her and kikiing with her and traveling. I get it's for the check, but it's still... She said so many things about Giselle where you just can't come back from that. So why are you hanging around her like this?
There is also the way she tried to play Portia and how Portia responded to her.
Oh, and with that,
I'm so proud of Portia.
I don't want to hear anything because Candace came for Portia first.
That part, she need a man. That part.
And she only came for the black girls.
And then also, let's talk about it, Chris, because in this moment when Portia was just trying to explain something that Candace did, she wasn't even dogging her. And the way Candace was like, nah, that's not how I meant it just the way I did. And Portia's like, oh, you're just being a bitch then, or see you next Tuesday. And she wasn't feeling that, but it's like,
and
we're talking. Go ahead.
I watched season 3 or 4 when she was terrorizing Ashley her entire pregnancy, like watching her corona intakes and stuff like that.
Don't forget the knife at the table in her house when she was banging it literally right next to her and pointing it in her face. Please don't forget that.
And she called Ashley a bed wench, a slave, and a roach. Could you imagine if any of those light-skinned broads called Candace or Wendy a roach?
That part.
They would have to stop production.
That part.
So I'm just like, this is double standard with Candace.
And I'm like, aren't you with Chris? Like a younger Leonardo DiCaprio? Like, what are you talking about?
She's mad because she chose a broke white man. And look, when she gets into it with Portia, I want to hear her excuse because she can't hide behind the colorism shield.
Well, you saw how she's trying to put Leah on Portia at the end of episode 3. That pissed me off. You got to check that hoe because she's a mess. And I was like, you're putting a battery pack into somebody who's making fun of people for drinking, even though she's a soap. Let me continue this because Leah's a bullshit too. I'm like, y'all, these motherfuckers up here are killing me. Like,
here was my point though. What I was talking about earlier. So when Candace was trying to call Portia out for she take a man or something like that.
I'm getting the slide. I'm getting there.
We cut to was that not the dinner?
That wasn't at that dinner. That was this episode, episode 2. Okay. Remember when it was Leah's day because she wanted to do elephant shit and sit in elephant poop. Then we get to this table. They're having like this deep expressive moment. And Marisol brings up her mother. As a matter of fact, let's scroll through here real quick. Leah's talking about how it was tough for her season and she couldn't go see her grandmother. And it cues to Giselle like, girl, production's not going to stop me from my grandma. What the fuck are you talking about?
Bullshit. I saw that season. She wanted to be forced to leave by production or somebody on the cast. She's
I agree.
Peak white woman.
I agree. Like
victim.
They told you several times to leave. They kept on telling you, Leah, if you have to go, you can go. No, I'm going to tough it out. I can tough it out. I can do it. Don't worry about it. We have footage of that. Like, come on, Leah. So I thought that was ridiculous. And then when Candace came over to hug her, what is Giselle's weird? I guess my hug is not good enough. Chris, I was like, what is happening? It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. Ooh, this hair.
I've been to Thailand before, and the elephant thing, it's very accurate. You have to go see the elephants. It's like mandatory.
Yeah.
And don't get into the water because you're going to step in shit, or an elephant's going to blow snot in your face.
I can speak to that from my own experience with elephants before. Also, I've had a camel spit in my face. Bitch, that shit hurt. That hurt. Like, it's like a bullet. Boom. I was like, girl, I'll never forget that day. Oh, my God. I was in Arizona. That camel ride was done, y'all. I was like, and see. He did not like me. I didn't like him either. He smelled nasty. Anywho, Candace has issues going on at home with her husband, Chris. That's a part of her storyline and why she didn't want to come to this trip. Whitney and Heather make this weird bond. Like, let's not come after each other. We're cousins. Girl, shut up. Like, y'all.
I don't care about anything concerning Whitney and Heather. It's all bullshit. No.
All of it is. To me, I think the full bit with you're doing this for TV. You're both doing it for TV. That is the point of you being a reality TV star, numbskulls. Portia, you're a mood. You're a mood in this Versace fucking bathrobe while you're sitting in the bed eating Kentucky Fried Chicken that Whitney never got.
Love.
This ladyboy party, which for the ones of us that know is drag, but they say ladyboys in Thailand, so it's not offensive, I promise you.
Yep, but I asked Jiggly to make sure, because I was arguing with a friend because they were saying it's like actually offensive. I was like, well, no, like it literally say
in
that
Thailand, yes, like literally that's a thing.
They're amazing.
I think in the Philippines too, that's also a reference there as well. So that's why it's like, if you don't know about the culture, don't speak on it. 1 and 2, ask questions. Just don't jump to the gun. But Candace had this shady party where she gave everybody kind of a nice name except for Giselle and Portia. Giselle is she need a man, and Portia was she'll take a man.
I didn't like that.
It's like everyone had a nice name, but them two. And then you're like, I'm Petty LaBelle, and da 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 da. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, girl.
Marisol literally has a drink every hour on the hour, and you called her Crystal Ball.
I would have called her Liver Gone.
So I got some names for Candace.
What names you got?
Molly Watt.
Bye.
Shanita Ashby. And a lot of tears.
Ooh. Let me see here for Candace.
This wasn't off dome, y'all, though. Like I said this in my review, by the way.
Yeah, mine would be Lisa Foundation. Oh goodness! Listen, let me get off of Candace real quick. She thought she was doing something here. I found this to be petty, and I found this to be a service to her fans that don't like Candace and say Portia, or people who are Kenya fans that don't like Portia either.
Right, and Portia wasn't phased because I mean, Real Housewives of Atlanta is boot camp. Like that is the most shadiest show. You're on the show with sharks. If you could get through Housewives of Atlanta, no one at that table can handle a season on Housewives of Atlanta.
Like Kenya is a professor in college, and Candace is maybe on 10th grade high school as far as reads are concerned, because it still is very dig 'em low, dig 'em high. It is what it is. If you're a Candace stan right now, please don't take this offensively, because I promise it's not about you. Also, if you've seen the show Swarm, yeah, okay, thanks. Moving forward here, let's see Giselle carry another argument over. Actually, it's going to be Candace who needed to know about the she need a man name because Portia was like, well, what was your issue with that? Why are you going to bring that up? And Candace like, well, the streets have been talking about. And I'm thinking to myself, isn't this what you don't like Giselle doing? Isn't this what you drag Giselle for? And now here you go picking at Portia, who doesn't actually dislike you and never said that she disliked you. I found this to be very interesting. And brought up that the streets were saying that Portia stole that husband, and they even pulled up this clip or whatever. And I thought Portia's explanation behind this was actually, I thought it was a good explanation personally. I found this to be so funny. How Portia just was like, here we go. And Marisol with her messy ass, oh, the streets are talking. And they looked at each other cross. The Miami girls give it to me. I'm sorry. Marisol and Alexia had me crying.
They were giving it in the second episode. In the first episode, I was like, why are they here? They could have got two Beverly
They sat back, but once they got pulled into it, it was, oh, okay. Y'all want us to play? Cool. Especially when Leah came from Marisol, and Marisol was low-key dragging you, girl. I don't have problems. I know what my issue is. I'm good with me. You're the one that has problems.
Mm-hmm. I love how Heather was just like, oh, I'll take your man.
As well as like the rest of it that's going with it too. Like in reality, let's talk about it. Like Leah literally talks about them negatively when they're drinking. Like, what are we doing here, sister? Like, this should have been a whole nother trip. Doctors drew something, sobriety journey. I don't know. But they also bring up receipts of like, hey, Fallon also got pregnant by her ex apparently while her and Simon were still together. That was a part of the reason why they broke up. This is all alleged and all that kind of mess. But apparently the marriage was already over. Portia said that, you know, she sent her love and respects to them. He got in her DMs. They went out one time and he said, we're getting divorced. She said she asked for the paperwork. The man sent it. It was good on that, but it still sat on the judge's desk because she did sign the paperwork. As somebody who was a child of divorce, I can speak on my behalf and say, yep, Deborah has gone through that. When my father was still dating yes, Vince, yep, was still doing all that. So I know that to be truth at some point. Now, is that Portia's truth? Who knows? I personally thought this story was a lot better than anything I've read online. I thought, and the way she told it too didn't feel very fantastical. It felt very like, oh, this seems like that makes sense.
They got engaged in less than a month. And the thing is, Portia, I love Portia, but, you know, we're going to call a spade a spade. She's an opportunist. And then Simon, you know, he's fame hungry. So it was a match.
Okay. I'm going to let you have that. I'm going to wish them the best in this. I liked her story. I found her story to be palpable. I was like, you know what? I'm pleased with that, Portia. Mm-hmm. I'm pleased with it. Now, Whitney is full on, hey, I've taken someone's man. What's good?
And that was my point. Like, you can tell nobody like at the table saw Salt Lake City because they would have definitely brought Whitney up like in that moment. That would have been perfect.
Because it's like, Candace, how you going to bring up Portia shit? And Whitney did the same fucking thing.
He literally took someone's man.
Okay. Heather wants to take someone's man.
Yes.
You like literally told us, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'm like, damn. Look at Marisol. I mean, you see the ring? Straight up, Portia. She said she did good. Now, Portia, the next time you get a mirror, baby, tell them to take the tag off the back of it, okay? It's giving Dollar General. That is Dollar General sticker, baby. Right there. Yeah, that's a Dollar General sticker. Go ahead, sister. If it's Sally's Beauty, I'm gonna look at you crazy for having it. Keep on rolling. Keep on going here.
Not with that jaw.
Now, Alexia brought up her gay ex-husband for the 15th time. But it's because Giselle asked about it, and some people at the table didn't hear the story. But Leah and Candace were in the car right over and had to listen to it before. She tells the table, literally, Marisol's over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is a little bit of a snooze fest. Because Heather's like, I think the story is great. She's like, I've already heard it before. Cue this moment.
That was still rude because, look, if Leah was talking about her sobriety and someone said, oh, it's a snooze fest.
She'd have lost her shit.
Yeah.
She'd have lost her shit. And she's already doing that now when someone brings up her sobriety while she's telling people, y'all are boring, get drunk for me. That came out of her mouth. Leah, how you don't make any sense. You're talking about your sobriety, but you're telling these bitches to get drunk because you're bored?
That's because she's used to being on her cast where they're all getting wasted.
Mm-hmm. Then she's going to talk about Marisol, who was like, That's rude. Talking about her being boring. Come on. If you were telling your story, she's like, oh, you're just trying to make an argument out of nothing. You're over here being mad at me because your stomach hurts and you can't drink.
She said, you're the one drinking vodka.
To your stomach all day till your stomach hurts. Have some eggs. Have some this. And I'm like, Leah, that's not, she's fine with her shit. You're the one that had, come on now. Like,
right. She said, I didn't need to quit. You had to quit.
Marisol's like, I'm a day drinker. I got mine. I can rally all day.
And I'll give that to Marisol. Like, she'll drink all day and night. She has never been sloppy drunk. And I'll be ready to call her out on it on my reviews, but she
always exits. She doesn't do drama. She's like, no, once it gets crazy, Marisol's quick to, I'm out, doors open, I'm gone. Personally, she's one of the reasons why I liked Miami this season. Actually, Miami in general, Real Housewives of Miami. Thank God they brought that back. I think being on Peacock too is a good thing for them. Like how we get the episodes immediately versus waiting at night. I kind of wish they remove all of them that way. But Leah, just who was asking to change the subject, mind you, brought up how she wouldn't take a small penis at all. Now doesn't even want to have the floor anymore when they said, Leah, what do you want to talk about?
Nothing.
Candace is interesting to me because I found her going to Leah's side because Leah was on everyone's bad side and she needed somebody to be with in that accord. And I find that Candace puts a battery in Leah's back. Chris, how do you feel about that?
When I saw that, I was just like, of course they bonded because they're both assholes. I don't care.
No way that made me laugh. Not assholes. Listen, this is definitely a performance. For all performances, baby girl slipped and fell. Candace stepped out onto this stage looking like she's about to scrub someone's nuts, maybe Chris's.
That's probably how big my loofah is.
Oh, that's funny. I have this thing about not getting white loofahs. Like I'm not trying to see everything. Listen, Portia's not happy how Candace came for her, and Giselle's trying to explain that Candace is a reactor and not an initiator. So this was totally out of her character. I found it rich for Giselle to be explaining anybody's anything. Yeah. Marisol, hot sake is not healthy for you because it's boiled rice. What an idiot. Oh, that was funny. I feel like she knew. But the third episode has not worked. You see how I'm trying to still keep you in this time?
I'll stay for the whole thing.
There we go. Because now we're on episode 3, and this is when it gets to get down.
Like, so the moment they stepped foot on this yacht, so they got off, it was a shit show.
But every boat has always been a shit show. There has never been a yacht ride that has gone successfully in the Housewives franchise. They know what boats bring. Married to Medicine, too, if we want to talk about it, is going to be drama. Going to be some drama. And this is Alexia's event. Very Cuban. Candace has an obnoxious hat on for some odd reason in this little boat.
She looks like if I put a flour tortilla on my thumb.
I would have said someone is, spinning pizza dough in a very small oven. Yeah, very, very that. But this scene between Alexia and Giselle made me uncomfortable over a bottle of alcohol.
Right, because Giselle was the one that bought it. And then Alexia, like, since it was her day, she was just like, oh, look, y'all, because Clase Azul, I mean...
Well, she requested it on the boat, so she assumed it was what she asked in the request. But Giselle was like, no, I literally brought that with me. And I'm thinking, did you pull that out your purse and put it on the table?
I think they all brought their own liquor, too, because Hennessy in Thailand...
It's not, you can't find it?
I can't remember.
Because I heard some alcohols you have to import there because they're not available and this, that, and the other and all that kind of jazz. I haven't had my Thailand experience yet. I need to do my UK experience first. That's the first international trip I need to go to.
I would say Thailand first.
I would say the UK first. You have seen New York. Yeah, and you know I love New York, so yeah. But no, I also know a lot of the girls, and I need to see my UK sisters real quick because I've been requested at many people's houses, including our winner, Miss the Vivian. So I'm trying to make it everyone's homes and eat their food and shit, taste included before she moves to the States. But yeah. So let's move forward with this. Some people do confessionals, and you can tell it's the ones who are close. What is?
Of course,
Leah is a try hard.
They look like Sailor Aluminum and Sailor, like it's just like Sailor Stars, like the evil Sailor ones.
Sailor Appliances, Sailor Maytag,
Sailor Iron Mouse, and Sailor Aluminum.
You know, this ain't even Reynolds. This is
and those are jeans she's wearing.
That, Chris. And I kept looking at them like, is this a part of your collection?
And it's just the two of them. Of course they bonded. Of course.
Victims. All right, listen.
Ooh, victims. Yeah.
Chris, get out of my mouth. Because like this boat ride was there, like, oh, the way Candace was yelling at them. And I was like, girl, shut up. Leah asked for all of that. What are you talking about?
I went off on Candace in my room.
Because Leah initiated the entire argument. So the first thing that happens here is Leah bringing up the fact that Portia made a comment because Leah said initially how she didn't even want to be there because of all the stuff that she's going through and that she's also sober, so she wouldn't be any fun. And then prior to that, the previous day, saying that Alexia was boring and y'all are too boring for me. Y'all need to wake it up. This is, she basically called them rude and low vibrational. And then has the nerve to sit over here and be like, because Portia said something, hey, Giselle, you made that comment yesterday about me leaving. And Portia, you made a snide remark earlier. I don't want to know what was that about because I feel like you're being shady to me.
Victim. She tried to turn it on them when what they're talking about is her behavior at the dinner the previous night. They weren't even talking about the elephant sanctuary.
Yeah, but it's also to lead into her attitude that they can feel through the rest of the trip after the statement was made. So it's like, girl, your attitude shows and you said some shit. So we're saying the things because it's like, okay, do you want to go or not? Like, what's up? Like, no shade. And so Giselle, Giselle, let me tell you something. Just let Portia handle these moments because Portia cleared. Wait a minute, girl. She goes, hold up. You're telling me that you're mad about something Giselle said? I said, girl, but you said it, sweetie. So what are we upset about? It was good. It was good shit. Good shit here. Leah was out of her league. She lost that fight completely. Alexia even having to stand in here is like, girl, you do know that, I mean, people are going to feel how they feel, and you can't just expect them to come off a different way if you said some shit like that. And Leah's like, you're not understanding me. Then we get Marisol into this one for some odd reason. I didn't even know why that was tagged.
Into it.
Like, Marisol wasn't even coming at her hard like that. And Leah's like, and you, Marisol, with your drinking and this, that, and the other, and you know I'm sober and that. And Marisol's like, I'm fine with me. I said I support you on your journey. I don't even know why you're trying me right now, sis. Like, what is this about? Oh, they were clowning. Like, Leah, you didn't do as much as you thought you did here. I know you talked about her eating food and doing all that mess, but it's like Marisol is not bothered by you. You do not have relevance in her equation.
And it's not a read calling Marisol an alcoholic, especially when you are.
Because she knows it and she's cool with that. She's like, yeah, I drink. She has a whole name for everything. You know what I'm saying? She has bedazzled glasses all over the place. Stop it. You might be, nope, I'm not going to say it. Nope. We're not going to play Jealous by Beyonce. No. This is why I don't think she should have been on the trip.
When you got me cheering for Giselle and Marisol, you got to be an asshole. And like last minute, Portia was added. She wasn't originally on the cast.
It was supposed to be Tinsley. And Tinsley backed out. And now Portia's literally, I don't want to say carrying the show, but she's definitely one of the main center.
She's carrying the show.
She's center. Yeah, because
people hate it, but it's entertaining as fuck.
Because Giselle's bringing all the drama, and Portia, whenever she's on the receiving end of it, she's not reacting the way she used to, and it's refreshing. It's even that argument that happens in a second here, like the Leah and Portia moment. Portia just waved her off like, girl, what are you talking about? Being a victim. Oh, here goes Leah being the victim again. Oh, no. I was like, Portia, stop. And, Candace jumping to the rescue. She already explained herself. She already apologized. It's y'all that are harping on it. Leah brought it up, dummy.
Right.
What are you talking about? Now you were eating your food, minding your business. All of a sudden now you know what's going on? Like, bitch, what are the Salt Lake City girls doing, Chris, in this moment?
Oh, Heather's just like sitting back quiet as a church mouse because she's glad that she's not in it.
She's living. She's like, this is stuff I look for. This is all. Don't leave, Leah. Candace, like, girl, what?
Yeah, like, where did that come from? Like,
God, this face.
Like, Candace, shut the fuck up.
It really blew my mind a bit. And then Candace starts bringing up the fact that she misses her husband. This is one of the reasons why she didn't want to be on the trip, trying to give validity to what Leah was going through. Leah's not talking about a man that she's in a relationship with that are having marital issues. She's talking about her sobriety journey and what she went through on her season of a show that she's no longer on because they're on pause. Okay. She's had time to think now. And she came here with all that baggage still in place, meaning she wasn't healed from this moment. Should have been on the show. Should have been on the show. Over here complaining about other people drinking and talking about other things and situations. Meanwhile, you're making the point of your anger at the beginning of episode 2, you being on your period. And I've never had one, don't know what it's like. But once I heard that shit, oh, the whole trip lines up with my cycle. And I'm a bitch on my cycle. No, that's good TV. That's why you're there. But if you ain't feeling that shit, just like them other situations, you could be gone. And that's what they're telling you. Like, you have choices.
Worse.
Portia tries to console Candace while she's having this moment about the situation over Chris and all that kind of stuff. And she's also trying to give validity in the situation here. When Leah comes back out and tells them, thanks, y'all, you've got me on my period. She was already on her period. I want you to remind y'all, she blamed them for her cycle starting when she told us the previous day it had already started. I can't get over that. I was like, what? And what did Portia say? I never touched that vagina. I ain't never seen it. I ain't never touched it. So weird. And of course, now she's like, they're all mean bitches and toxic, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, girl, you antagonized several arguments that you couldn't handle. You were getting cleared and you ran away. Done. Next. Now, Candace is asking for sympathy in this moment now that her best friend is gone and she needs sympathy here. And Portia goes, it's funny that you're asking all of this and you act this way because yesterday you feeling uncomfortable and shit. I wasn't comfortable when you brought up she need a man and brought my personal business into this. Is that how you get to know people? I didn't know that. Yeah, let me know. That how you get to know. I was like, God damn, Portia. I said, you've been around Kenya. You know, and I heard her and Kenya are actually cool now. So it's like,
now you notice, like when Candace and Portia was going at it, Candace wasn't getting bucked. Like she was watching that mouth, and she knew better. She knew better.
She had to ask Portia to sit down because she was nervous. That was a cat. She said, "Can you sit, please?" Because Portia was up here, like, girl, I don't like. What are you talking about? And all this
I'm ahead of myself, but you'll see the difference how Candace was talking to Giselle. And calling her like a...
Oh, no, I had the screenshots. Yep, I got them, Chris. Don't even worry about it. You see how Portia had to sit down and go, okay, let me try this again. Candace, like, explain.
And she was like, I've been crying every day. I have to call my mom. Like, and then she tries to loop that in to defend Leah, trying to be her savior, while Leah's on the other side of the boat taking selfies.
Having a completely different breakdown in a different situation than what you are having, but still having the same emotional crisis. The situations are different, and therefore the narratives don't play the same when we're having arguments. That's why. Go ahead.
I also said in my review, Ebony K. Williams will tell you, defending Leah is not a hill to die on. Just saying.
Because you saw how that worked for her.
Exactly, because Leah turned on her like that.
Quickly. And Ebony had her back, girl. Okay. Left her there in them situations with people like Ramona. Okay, listen. Now, I thought this was also like key shady in a cute way to get Giselle together. At the same time, bring something from them with the Cuban sandwiches, words, and in Spanish, basically trying to like, hey, if you want to learn some stuff, then what we're saying. So see, this applies to you. I thought that was a cute way to work this around. Giselle is bored though.
Oh yeah, like the moment was too positive for her.
Did you hear how she says, "I don't want to like take away the moment, but so Whitney, I understand that you and Heather, your cousin, have done sort of like a little pinky promise or something like that. That don't have shit to do with anything going on right now or what even happened on the boat earlier. Now you've developed a new argument. And what made this even crazier, Chris, and this is where I thought this was a gag, because Leah jumped in on this and I was like, what? But it was over the fact that they said, we pinky promise we're not going to beef with each other no more. And Leah's like, Whitney, you're fake because you were just telling us on the bus, not what last night, that you think that Heather's a hypocrite because she's writing a book called Bad Mormon and it's basically influencing people to leave the church. Meanwhile, her name is still in the docket of the Mormon book as a Mormon.
Oof. Heather was gassed. She was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, Heather's, I don't know, behind the scenes, like, I think she contradicts herself.
Whitney's a Libra down and through and through, because she tries to balance the moments of her bullshit by being like, well, this is why I did it, but this is why I understand. But you have to think about it, babe. Like, I'm not lying. So, but it's like, you're my cousin. You shouldn't be calling me out like that. At the same time, this is true. And you've been watching these other people in their drama. And here you are with your own bullshit. But that's Giselle also bringing it back to you two again. I love how Whitney and Heather were on the boat like, well, everybody, all the POCs are fighting. No, no, it's you. Yep. And literally, they pulled the shot. She's writing a book called Bad Mormon. Now, Whitney, you should know if Giselle, of all of the tree rings, listen, if you want to cut Giselle down, just look at her neck on the inside. You'll find out her real age. But Giselle's in the same car. You should never tell anything of any secret, anything in a car with her at all. Because she literally sat there in silence, said a few words, and then took it right back to this. That's a gag, Chris. I'm like, damn, Giselle, you working. Like, did you put that on your phone, like a note, like, bring this up?
Overtime.
Whitney still feels betrayed because she thinks Heather is being more of a friend to Jen Shah than she's being a family member to her, Heather, as a cousin. Heather doesn't feel that way at all. Heather feels like Whitney's doing shit for TV. Whitney says the same thing. This is normally the third season way of saying that they're on television, because this literally happens for every season of Housewives after season 3. You're just trying to do this for fame. That's the normal narrative. This was silly. The whole bit was silly. The fact is, and what makes this really crazy, Chris, is that, do you know Giselle had brought this up at one point in time at that table, like a couple episodes ago, and then was like, I'm bored. Let's do something else. Can we talk about something else? Can you believe that? You brought it up. See, look at Portia and Candace getting along, because low-key they're friends now. So obviously this trip didn't ruin anything since Candace was at Portia's wedding. So, it's like, again, they actually can be cool. Candace just can't be on some other stuff with Portia, because Portia's on that no fucks given factor. And I think that Candace still gives fucks. I also found it funny when Giselle was trying to tell Candace how she should be acting on social media. Like, Giselle, just because you don't actually respond to people on social media doesn't mean you're not a piece of shit yourself. Listen, the starting defensive back for the Lions is sitting out on the bus right now, on this boat, and she feels betrayed by Whitney, but she's also like, all the girls have gotten to her. It's so funny how Heather was such a fan, and then now all of a sudden she's like, they're gearing her up, they're boasting her up, they're putting that battery in her pack. And I'm like, Heather, you were living for this a moment ago. Look at what happened, girl. Giselle is messy and asked to see the picture of the black eye that Heather got, because Heather basically said she either had something fall on her when she was in the closet, or I don't know, maybe Jen.
It was like the cupboard or something. Like,
what do you think happened, Chris?
I think they were just roughhousing. She said something to Jen, and Jen hit her in the eye. I think Jen hit her.
I think Giselle called it clear.
Because there was the scratches too. So how do you like?
I think Giselle said it true, because she was already facing time, and if there was a report on there of some sort of violence, then it would add more time to her sentence, because they would just add on to it, and it would just add to the case that she's not reliable and she's dead. I was like, "Oh, Giselle, you should have been a lawyer. You should have been a lawyer, girl." Because
I was hollering. Like, I know we're not supposed to like Giselle, but
I can't stand her, but I love it when she's right. And it's always like on the money too. It's like, ooh, yep, that's it. That's it right there. But again, when you're focused on other people's business, you always gonna know. Yeah, there you go. So you know, Leah, everybody's into this mixture here. Leah comes back into the boat after Candace tells Leah that Giselle basically, Candace kind of exaggerated that truth a little bit. They use the term sexual, you know the one I'm talking about, where it's a little bit more aggressive in a sense. And that's not what Giselle said, but I don't know if Leah took that and then added to it. But she's like, I find it to be funny how you mentioned me and my stuff, but meanwhile, you're over here bringing that up with Candace. And I'm like, that had nothing to do with what you just went through.
Nothing.
Just did that to add in an argument. Are you sure you're not drinking?
And you playing checkers with Giselle. I'm sorry, but neck be playing chess.
This is girl, this is giraffe over here. So what about it? What are you talking about? So what? No, we talked about it. We good. Yeah, that's been squashed. What do you mean? But Giselle always starts to question and then just like write it off just to be like, oh no. At the reunions too. All that drama through the season, we get to the reunion.
Yeah.
What do you mean? So what? Yeah, that's how I felt. Oh my gosh. And it's like, girl, who has not beaten your ass yet? You know what I'm saying? And I know you an AKA girl, but I know when your alliances had to get you together at some point in time, I would not trust her. She can't be the treasurer. Can't.
Right.
Can't. Now, it's their gag because they didn't watch Potomac either. Marisol was like,
well, the season didn't air yet.
That's right, because this was right after
Salt Lake and Potomac didn't air yet, which I hope they never do that again because the timelines keep messing up. Because
Marisol and Alexia just finished their season to get to this one, right? They just wrapped it because they're talking about stuff that happened on their season on this one. So it's like,
I think so. But I was about to say I lost my point.
My bad.
No, it's fine. I hope they never do that again because the timelines was just kind of off. Because then at BravoCon, that premiered. Well, BravoCon was going on. There was 2 episodes of Potomac aired, and then Salt Lake City, I think 1 episode aired. But then they were kind of spilling tea what happened. So it was just like the timelines were just all over the place.
They had filmed too much at one point in time. So it's like, oh, but my episode hasn't aired just yet, but it'll come out. But we also were on the trip after the show. And it's like, oh, okay.
Those panels was wild. Like Salt Lake City's panel was like one of the best, which I was shocked. And then Potomac, like, I was like seeing how Candace and Giselle was interacting and they seemed fine. So it was just weird.
I think there has been a resolution or some sort of coming to an agreement after this trip or whatever that happens with Candace and Giselle. I'm not sure if that's going to hold through on the next season of Potomac. Candace was dragging Giselle. You saw how she was going in on Giselle over here. And Giselle, once again, what are you talking about? What did you do? What's happening?
I will say Giselle isn't fazed by Candace's like vitriol for her.
So I mean, she sat through Monique's receipt book. I mean, that was a clear read. You want me to call him? Yeah. Also, Karen, is Jamal coming?
Did you watch Jersey, by the way?
I'm watching it now. I'm currently caught up. I am not Team Melissa. I know. Oh. I'm not them. They're shady folks, man. They're shady folks.
Margaret just had the best confessional I've seen this year. But anyway.
I'm not totally Team Teresa, but I do know there are inconsistencies with Melissa and Joe's handling of situations. And so I don't believe anybody at this point. I think that there's way more to the story, and I know it has a lot to do with the show. And I think Melissa being jealous that Teresa got on first and her wanting to have that limelight. I do.
Teresa hates Melissa.
I would too. I'm so for real on that. I would too. I'm not happy with her this season at all, especially with how she tried to bring the kids into this. And they were like, oh, well, Teresa did all that. She ain't got nobody but her, man. Like, what are you talking about? Like that, they've been doing that. So it's always, anywho, hold on. See, Chris, go ahead and talk about Jersey.
Teresa has an Oedipus complex with her brother. That's what I think.
I think there's something with Joe too. And it's I don't believe everything that I'm seeing. I don't think they're straight laced at all. I think he's also done some shady, shicey shit. Hello, Teresa, they're related. I totally believe that. But I'm on Teresa's side this season for some reason. Yeah, I don't. Something about Melissa bothers me. When she's speaking, I do not believe her. Oh, Chris, I be looking at her like.
Yeah, we'll be here all day, but
yeah, it's something, and especially the way when she met Gia at that party, and then she started talking about that. It was the manipulative way that she talked about them. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
I don't like Gia, so.
Oh, what about Melania? Let me stop. What about the rest of the babies? Okay, let's move on here. We're not talking about tan white women that hate black. All right. They said one of them girls on the show is a MAGA supporter. And it's not Jennifer, it's another one of them, but Jennifer also.
Oh, there's a few of them actually.
I know, and that's why I was like, I don't know how I feel about all this in here. Notice who's in the car: Miami, Portia, and Giselle. That's the four right there.
A key about Heather's black eye. They were laughing,
cackling. They were cackling.
I want to be in the car with them. Like they were having a fun time. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I could talk about Alexia too, Eric. We know Alexia also has her issues with women who are darker than her. Gertie tried to make her come off as aggressive. I didn't appreciate that. And unprofessional.
Alexia and Teresa are the same person.
Oh, they are. Just one looks better and has Alexia. Oh God, Alexia's forehead actually agrees with her hairline, unlike one of them that has their hairline trying to meet their eyebrows. Swear, I look at Teresa and I assume someone made her lifelike Muppet and just stopped. Right when Jim Henson passed away, may he rest in peace. This is where I got hot, and this is where we're going to wrap it, Chris, is when Leah and Candace are having a conversation about what went down. They're talking about Giselle, and it's like Candace gave Giselle a pass, but then put it on Portia like, you're going to have to check her, because clearly she's a messy hoe, this, that. You're the one calling her Shanita Man. She didn't even bring up none of your shit, Candace. She didn't talk about your problems with Monique. She didn't talk about anything going on with your husband. It's been you. I thought this was weird. Like, what are we doing? You want a problem with her.
I think she was telling her to check Giselle.
She was talking about Portia. Go back and watch it again, because she was explaining about Giselle. She's going to be the messy girl, but that Portia, that's the one you're going to have to get. Like, look at back. She said that Portia. You got to get her.
No, I think she was talking about Giselle.
I wish I could play the fucking clip. She was talking about the Porsche. Watch,
but
yeah, I'm telling you, because it goes Giselle first, then she goes, but that Portia. And then she goes right into it. And I was like,
she went back.
Because, I mean, she already checked her already.
Because she said she checked Giselle and then she advised Leah to do the same thing. So, I don't know.
It could be both of them.
Also, it was weird seeing Leah in her confessional say neck. Like, it didn't land the same way when Candace said it.
Like when Lucy made that, she ate. My black friend had a fun thing to say, and I just want to use it right now.
Right, exactly. Because I was like, no.
Because neck is for the culture, low key. And again, bringing it up, Potomac being the second all black female cast to ever in the Housewives franchise. I mean, if you really want to go there, y'all were the first ones to start as an all black female franchise, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, at least for the States. Yeah, so I don't know. I like Portia and Giselle. I like Marisol and Alexia on this show.
They're
know what I'm saying? They're fun. Heather and Whitney are another kind of, I don't know what this is and why do I care? I prefer them confessional versus in their drama. I'd rather them just be commentary than actually speak. Then
Heather rapping Mariah Lynn support, like while she's reading Portia's book.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I was like, wait, what? But it's interesting that she brought her book on the trip with her to read about Portia. And that's weird, right, Chris? I would be very nervous if I was on a trip and someone's like, oh, Matty, I also have your book with me and I was just reading it. Can you talk to me about We're on vacation, babe. I got book signings for that. Like, you can ask there. Oh, Chris, just so you know, I had a post in my drafts for that lady. I had a post in my drafts, and I was like, no, Matty, because I'm gonna say some shit that I can't come back on.
Oh yeah, you saw, like, my post went viral, but I was just speaking to like how I felt. I was just like, New Orleans, I've been there, like, it should be majority Black. I did not say it should be all Black, but don't give us no Real Housewives of Metairie or Baton Rouge or these LSU.
Can you imagine if the Metairie? Ooh, no. Get us in New Orleans, please. There needs to be at least 2 people living in the French Quarters. Like, at least 2. Like, maybe 3. I don't know. Yeah, we need to see it.
Low key, I wanted to get my best friend to audition because she's perfect, but I don't think she wants to. Like, she has a family that's well known in New Orleans. She's very Afrocentric. She's a geneticist, and she's getting married, and she's pregnant at the same time.
So she has a storyline, and a good one that can last 3 seasons alone just off of that. Come on, girl, step on in here.
She has a lot to lose, though, so it's
fun. So then I say go in there if y'all know you good. Now I'm gonna read the draft I made because I really wanted to post it, but I was like, I'm not about to get in an argument with this woman who clearly, after seeing her likes and her retweets, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I said, a very adorable attempt at making yourself look peaceful when you try to pull a reverse racism card on someone who is actually from New Orleans and is fully aware of what his city actually looks like, not what you want the city to be. I'd implore you not to apply your gentrification into your tweets when you're asking people questions.
Yeah.
That would be my response. So
you should have put it, because that lady posted, oh, well, see, if I wanted the cast to be all white, I would have been called a racist.
Yes.
I was like, can someone handle this? Because I'm not about to.
Alex kept doing like physical reads with his retweets, and it was funny. But I was like, Alex, it's time to take her to school. And so I had mine in the drafts, and I was just like, no, Matt, because I already had that comment on my page about someone being half Caucasian, Asian, and feeling some kind of way about certain panel members. And I was like, not trying to feed someone's weird perception of what we do as a panel and how they should feel about us, because conversations happen between Black men about things that we deal with and what we go through and how we experience a show that we talk about together. So it was just like, I have to be like, oh, man, I can't do this today. But I promise you, I was ready to go. The moment I saw it, I was like, oh, you literally told a Black person from New Orleans what they can't do about a show that's going to be based in a city that they know, lived, and breathed from. Girl, do you even know about Katrina? Like, let's not do this today. I can even speak on Katrina as a Houstonian because y'all came here. Y'all came here. The Astrodome was back. Okay. Still there. I'm talk about it, Chris. Half my friend group is from New Orleans that's still out here. Like, it became New Houston. Oh, but yeah, I want, in those moments, I'll think again. But yeah, you saw what I did. I said, if you want to ask me the question, just inbox me. We'll talk directly. I honestly wanted to hear what they had to say. I was not being facetious. I just wanted, I need moments. Can you point out what you're talking about? Or is this just a general statement? I can't help in general statements, but if you specifically point out a moment that made you feel some kind of way, I can go back and reevaluate that and look at it on your behalf. But when you make a blanket statement like some of your panel members make me uncomfortable, it feels very Reddit. It feels very, I'm angry. I'm just going to yell out the things I don't like about them, or pull up things that are very personal about me that no one said about me, but I took personal. That's what it gives. And I know that man's grown. So that's why I'm like, if you want to talk about it, my inbox is available. I have never backed down from a debate, an argument, or taken an L. I've never backed down from it. Hell, I got on here and talked about Mimi, and y'all were like, da, da, da. I took my L on that. So what's up? Okay, this is Matty in 2023. The fucks I give are kind of few and far in between. I'm just ready to have a conversation about shit. Tell me what's the problem. It's not a big deal. Then shut your fucking mouth. Okay, cool. That's all it is. Like, real talk. You ain't got nothing to say. Fuck off. Shit. Tell me what the problem is. You don't want to tell me? Then bitch, fuck you. Like, that's it. Because I'll hear you. I'll take it. Oh, wow. Really? I don't mean it. You know me, Chris. I'll take them. I'll take them. But I'm going to move the fuck on because we're not going to continue talking about this. And I have more things to do. And so do you and the rest of everybody. So anywho, listen, Chris, promote yourself right now because Chris covers the show on his channel. He also got to talk to Taj from SWV. Excuse me. Taj from SWV.
The face of SWV.
That face is everything. It is structured for all kinds of weather. And her husband is everything. Hell, always husband. Beautiful family.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful family. That I know that was cool. Chris got to talk to a legend. Jamar got to talk to Candy. What music artist will I speak to? Actually, fuck that. I talked to Melissa from the Real World this year. Wait. I love it. Everybody from the panel is successful. Fuck what you heard.
And they watch. It's great.
Yes, they do.
I got acknowledged from Lily, Candy. Candy reposted my video, which was great. I appreciate that. And she likes to keep it real. Like, even though Candy be sending me shit, this is no shade to anybody, but you know, I'm still gonna say what I have to say about Candy. That's all I'm saying.
I hope she's not mad at my jokes, you know, because again, I still like Candy. I respect her, especially in this situation that's going on with Escape right now. You're better than me, Candy. Woo! Because Tasha would be just gone, and we'd be 3, and we'd be done. I let her go have her miserable gospel career because she ain't gonna have it now that we know she's a thief. Thanks, Tamika, for the receipts. When are y'all doing that video?
Yes.
Did you see that shit? I said, girl, you posted the copies of her blanking out your name in whiteout that we can tell, and then putting her name on there, and then the text messages to prove the threats.
But at this point, just take it to court. Like I guess that's not small claims court, I guess, but it is a crime. So I don't know.
Forgery, honey, like threats, like blackmail, like intent. This is your family member. Imagine that. And I said this, Chris, when I was watching the show, I said, it's Rocky and Tasha's weak. And she was always weak because she was so insecure about her body. And she finally got cute because she did all that she had to do, met this man. The man has raised her up from whatever low end she was on her mind and plain being. And now he's running the show. And so just like he's got to talk to her before she says, I said, man, that is not a good look. This is very scary. You're definitely not in control of your situation. And you think this is what God wants you to have, because so many people get religion and get like those kind of relationships confused because you read in the Bible somewhere where it says to obey your husband, but it's also not to be a punk by your husband either, or be a fool by your husband either. So like, it's interesting watching that play out and Tasha live in her own delusion. I'm assuming she's Drea from Sworn and that she's in a whole fantasy. I'm signing my first record deal, girl. That's not going to sell. You use this platform that Candy, Tiny, and your sister Tamika, y'all did together, and now with SWV as a way to promote your own shit and fuck over this group live. I'm watching it happen. I'm like, this is crazy. She did this all for her own shit. This ain't even about the group anymore. So Candy, drop her, please. Please. I like Escape, but we can love it without Tasha.
Oh yeah, this should have been a trio.
Shit. Or do like Destiny's Child did. Put somebody cute in there, or a gospel singer, and have them sing. A real gospel singer. Okay. My bad. C Diggy, promote yourself. We're wrapping this up, and I'm going to Panda Express.
Yeah, so y'all can follow me, CDiggy1, on Instagram and Twitter. I have my own YouTube. My review for Ultimate Girls Trip will be out tomorrow. And yeah, I do Housewives, Jersey, all that stuff. Yeah, follow me. I'm almost at 14,000 subscribers, trying to get that number higher and higher.
It's coming. It's a coming. Yeah. Y'all go support Chris. He's a hoot. He's also on the panel with us on Sundays when he's not traveling. And I'll be good, because it's the finale. Well, not the finale, but the last episode within the arc of the competition before we go to reunion, and then we go to finale. There is a reunion.
Wow.
The finale is going to be on April 15th because Drag Race España premieres April 16th. I don't get one break. I don't get that. Drag Race ends, and I'm like right into España.
We get the Atlanta trailer tomorrow, y'all. Just letting you know. and I heard that it's good.
I need to know where Marlo is this season, and if she will actually be entertaining versus the mess that she was in the first. Because that first season was like,
yeah, I think she learned, but we'll see.
Because Carlos be dragging her, and I love my friend Carlos, but I be like, girl, you always like the girls I don't like. And I love Carlos, so I appreciate his opinions, but I'd be like, oh, sis, not her. Okay. It's your boy, Matty Rants. You already know what's up in the description. Linktree link, Patreon. This reaction to all 3 episodes of Ultimate Girl Stripper up now. I also posted Yellow Jacket Season 2, Episode 1 up there. So if you're watching that on Showtime, I got that up. That show's crazy. That first episode made me almost vomit at the end. Ugh, disgusting.
Ooh, I can't wait to watch.
Hey, have you seen Season 1?
No, but I'm gonna watch.
You need to watch. You have my login.
Yeah, I need to get your login. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I literally made a profile for you. What are you talking about?
Send me your
you
login.
And Jamar and Chris be killing me sometimes. I'm like, girl, I be paying these bills. And I'm like,
I'm gonna text you.
I have the Hulu, I got the Showtime, I got the pair of the ball. Yeah, I'm always broke. So that's why y'all can donate and tip the channel. But if you don't want to do that, hit that thumbs up button because YouTube really does take account of that. We appreciate you for tuning in today. I'll make sure to put Chris's link tree in here at the end of this. Reminder. But I'm going to go to the store first because the bitch is hungry. Take care. Have a good night, everybody. I'll be playing the Quarry tomorrow night after the Baddies West review. So stay tuned for that. Your boy's tired today. I got the challenge to watch, Abbott Elementary, and maybe 4 other shows I got recorded. So we'll see you then. Take care. Until the next time. You know what's up. Bye.
Bye.
I'm like, what am I doing with my finger?
Listen.
Yeah.